of time.
O'clock.
Hey everybody, what's going on? It's Wednesday night. I know Tom's like burping as soon as
Pookie running around in between my feet.
she's like, wah, 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 wah. You know what I mean?
yeah.
As soon as we come in here and sit down, she's always like, I want to be on the show too.
Yeah, let me be on the show.
Oh my god.
Yeah, fucking CB's already complaining about how this bitch looks on the fucking thing. Yeah, this chick's weird. As soon as I saw that photograph of her, I was like, that's a weird looking chick, man. CB's like, she looks inbred.
I will say that it's like, I've seen pictures of her where she looked like pretty normal.
Yeah, she's not
And
inbred.
evidently,
She's
no,
ugly.
she's not inbred or anything. But the weird thing about it is that, man, she really didn't seem to have problems finding men. Because wow, she was she slept around. Let's put it that way. No judgment.
She's
I'm
a
just
super
saying.
slut.
I mean, I'll judge her because
She's a super slut.
because she's a murderer. But you know,
Well, she probably had pretty low standards in men, so she was probably offering it just
maybe
just
so.
anyway. You
And
know.
dudes are just kind of like,
The,
well, okay.
the police said she used her legs as a weapon, basically. It was a tool to get what she wanted out of dudes. She was just manipulative. She's fucking psycho.
Big time.
A psychopath.
And like I said, and I'm not defending her. She did have a super, super shitty childhood. But like I said, a lot of killers have super shitty childhoods. A lot of people have super shitty childhoods and turn out fine.
A lot of psychopaths have shitty childhoods because their fucking parents are psychos.
Yeah,
It's
this
just part of it.
This chick here, and like I said, not excusing what she did, but her dad, for her mom seemed like neglectful, and her dad seemed very, very strict and also possibly sexually abusive.
Mm-hmm. Wouldn't surprise me.
The type of dude that he was, it wouldn't shock me.
Shit runs in families, man.
Now she had 3 or 4 younger siblings. I believe she was the oldest, and they all turned out okay as far as I know. So obviously she had something else that exacerbated. Maybe she got treated different than the other kids. I don't really know.
Yeah, sometimes in these families, like only like one of the family one of the girls is getting all the fucking abuse.
Yeah,
The
that
other one.
does happen.
Yeah.
So it's not like, because that's the thing. It's, you can say, oh, they had all these siblings and they turned out all right, but that doesn't necessarily mean, because all the kids are treated different, right?
Yeah.
Because they're all like different people. So.
Yeah, I've read about cases where the father's only abusing one of them. Like the oldest daughter, not any of the other ones. She's taking all the abuse. Just weird shit like that.
Yeah, Ian Finley pointed out, yes, yet Farrah Fawcett played her, believe it or not. Yes, that's right. Farrah Fawcett played her in a 1989 movie, which I think, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was based on the Anne Rule book that was called Small Sacrifices.
It's funny.
Which was like a big, huge hit. Anne Rule, if you don't know who that is, she's like huge, like true crime writer. Was she the one that worked with Ted Bundy?
Who?
Anne Rule.
I don't. It sounds familiar, but I don't know.
I thought she worked like in an office with him, and then like that's how she got
Yeah,
started. Was
does
that
sound
her?
familiar. It sounds familiar. Yeah, I think
Maybe
that might
that's
be.
somebody else I'm thinking of. But she's written a million.
The name
bajillion.
sounds familiar.
Yeah, she's written a million true crime books.
Yeah.
That's like, she's hugely famous, like in the true crime.
Her and Cassandra. What was her name? Cassandra. No. Cleopatra.
Oh, that
Jones.
chick. Yeah,
Remember her? She wrote a
I
bunch
remember
of them.
that. But yeah, Anne Rule wrote a book about this case, and there was a movie based on it. Was it made for TV? I think it was a made for TV movie. I haven't seen it. It's on YouTube. I was gonna watch it, but I just didn't have time. It was like a mini series because it was like 3.5 hours. So I was like, I meant to watch it. I put it in my watch later. I put it in my playlist, but I was just like, I just didn't get around to it. I was like, I've been like totally swamped this week, so I didn't really have time to do. I've been watching documentaries about this bitch like in the evening, I watched the Simon Whistler one thing about it and the British one.
Here.
But yeah.
Everybody
Yeah, DVD Dragon says most men will fuck anything. True.
Yeah.
Putting up high numbers is not impressive, like selling water in the Sahara Desert. Yeah, that's true, and I kind of feel like that's just because a girl is a hoe. That doesn't necessarily mean because some people are like, man, who'd sleep with that? I'm like, well, probably you would if she just came and was like, hey, want to fuck?
Yeah.
Okay, you know what I mean? I feel like most guys probably would. I don't think she's. I don't know. Like I said, I've seen pictures of her. I wouldn't call her ugly. She's just, I don't know. She's
weird.
She's kind of weird looking. She's kind of weird looking.
Yeah.
But like I said, sometimes it depends on the picture. Because I've seen pictures of her where she just looks normal. Yeah. But I can't explain it. You know what I mean? I don't usually like to pick on people's looks. Although I will pick on people's looks if they're pieces of shit. Which this... the thing about this... Man, everybody in this, other than the kids that were the victims, obviously, pretty much everybody in this whole story is a piece of shit. Yeah. Her ex-husband, like all dudes she was sleeping with, like everybody. Her parents, everybody sucked.
Zach's asking why do so many of these 70s women have the thin-faced, big teeth look? I don't know. I guess
I wonder what that was.
I guess that was before a lot of women were fucking skinny in the 70s.
It's all like cocaine.
Yeah, cocaine had a lot to do with it, and just the styles of the time. And I think that was kind of like before the full effects of all that damn corn syrup in the food and shit hadn't fully fucking come into effect and fattened everybody up like cattle.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that people could be scrawny. A lot of scrawny people in the 70s.
I feel, well, a lot
and they
of...
were eating. It's just that
some of them were. I think a lot of the actresses that you saw, especially like in TV movies and like on TV and stuff, like in the 70s, man, some of those women were very, very thin. Like nowadays, you'd probably be like, not healthy. I kind of feel like they were probably just living on cigarettes and gum.
I just remember being a little kid, in the 70s and seeing a lot of teenage girls in early 20s that were just really fucking skinny. Skinny, no bra, real high-rise shirts, belly showing. They had bell bottoms, but they weren't the bell bottoms that you're seeing in like in reproduction fashion. They didn't quite look that good. The cut was fucking weird. Yeah, they were kind of like mom jeans.
They didn't really do them right.
They didn't do them right.
The ones they have nowadays look a lot better. Because I have some pairs, and I was initially I was just kind of like bell bottoms. Come on, but I put them on. I was like, hey,
yeah, they're good. Yeah.
Those look pretty good.
Bell bottoms look good when they're kind of low rise hip hugger. And they're tight in the thigh, and then they bell out at the bottom of the leg. And that's not really what the common bell bottoms looked like in the 70s. They were high waisted, so they looked like mom jeans, and the pant leg started to bell at the top, almost like what we would call Jenkos. We had those in the 90s, Jenkos, but Jenkos actually looked cooler. It has sluttier girls in Jenkos than they did.
But you had to be pretty small to like wear the Jenkos and make them look good.
Fucking real skinny. You had to be
That's what I meant.
Cute,
you had to be like a really small,
skinny,
like a little elfin.
Yeah, or a little bitty.
They looked good on them. Pretty much nobody else.
Yeah. the 90s Jenko look was a kind of a revival of the 70s.
A bit, yeah.
But it was just, I guess you could say it was better than the bell bottoms that they were wearing back then. But it was like the half belly shirts and fucking pierced belly buttons and
the chokers,
and they were starting to pierce their nipples.
Ribbon choker.
Yeah, and they were non-bra wearing, but a lot of them had implants. It was in the fucking weird ass bracelets that were made out of candy.
Yeah, I remember.
Remember those? The candy.
They still make those as far as I know.
Bracelets and necklaces made out of candy.
That was like a rave thing.
Yeah, like rave thing, and then they'd have fucking binkies and shit.
That was also that was also a rave.
Because of all the drugs they were taking.
Yeah, that was also a rave thing.
Fucking yeah.
I do remember that.
Yeah.
I was out of high school by that time, but but I do remember like seeing girls wearing those.
Yeah.
I was
never,
the
days, man.
I was never real into the rave shit. You know what I mean? But hey, if other people liked it,
those girls were fun though.
Yeah, some of them were. Yeah, I knew some of them. Like I'm not gonna cast
too,
aspersions, but it's just like it's not really my thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Zach says Sissy Spacek has a kind of similar look to this woman, but she makes it work and is gorgeous. Yeah, Sissy Spacek is like a million times more
she's
beautiful
attractive
than this chick.
Yeah.
But that just goes to show, like, yeah, Sissy Spacek is actually quite beautiful, I think.
Yeah, she's white trash beautiful.
Well, that's why she was the perfect choice to play Carrie.
Yeah.
Because you could buy that she was kind of this browbeaten nerd.
Yeah.
Like that would get picked on, but then when they made her up, you're just like, oh wow, she's actually gorgeous. Like it worked. Like it worked. You know what I mean?
It's like a hillbilly Appalachian trailer queen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's a great actress too.
Yeah.
I was like.
That's the way she looked. I don't think that's the way she really was, but that's
probably not. But that was just kind of all the type that.
Yeah, she's that type.
High Desert says maybe that's why there aren't as many serial killers now. People are too fucking fat. Yeah, they're like, I really would like to go out and kill some hookers, but man, I'm just gonna stay in and play video games. I mean, that's a net win for society, probably.
I think it's a lot of factors, but
It is, yeah. I'm just
there's
making a joke.
people have noticed that there have been some. I saw some little shows on it. I saw the titles, but I didn't watch them. But I know what they're going to talk about. They're going to talk about the leaded fuel.
That's a big factor.
There's reduced fucking testosterone levels in the age group that tends to do that. Too much porn, so they're jerking it all the time. I don't think there's, and then I think they're also kind of they're shy. And
I think too that it's
they're
like
not aggressive
when
like
you
they were.
see whatever porn you want like all the time, you don't really develop the kind of like weird, because a lot of serial killers had
repression,
that weird repression that it's like they felt guilty about stuff they didn't know. It's like, oh, I'm into this weird shit. Nobody else is into that, and like I'm a freak and all this other kind of stuff, and that kind of becomes like it kind of becomes warped, and you don't really see that as much anymore.
They had an unrealistic view of sex. And they'd kind of fucking imagine it to be something that it wasn't. They imagined it to be something like out of fetish cartoons, or that they were reading and looking at, the crime novels, that kind of shit. Those crime magazines influenced them, and it was just photography. But now, some people say, well, the porn isn't realistic either. The porn was more realistic than their fantasies.
True.
So I think that it's like, oh, okay, that's all it is. I think it demystified it for a lot of them.
Yeah.
So they don't quite have the same, but they're still out there.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying that they've completely disappeared.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of fucked up people, obviously.
There's just not as many of them.
But the pathology isn't quite the same because society isn't the same.
Yeah. It's not
as CB points out, fetish bars and sex bars aren't as taboo today as they were back then. Yeah, any kind of like fetish or anything like that is not really seen as weird anymore unless it's like way out there.
If you make sex into a big deal, people are going to make it into a big deal.
Yeah.
They're going to fucking do shit about it. It's fucking, especially if they can't get it, or if they can't get the certain type that they want. Some dudes are just into fucking sexual assault. They can get it normally. There's one guy, he was like a good-looking jock dude, and he was just a serial fucking rapist. He went on the run, remember?
Weirdly, I think a lot of them are like that because I kind of feel like, especially nowadays, I kind of feel like we always think of like a serial rapist, for example, as just being some loser that can't get it any other way. That's not usually the case. It's usually dudes that could get it. Like if they're perfectly normal looking, they can act normal.
They want to take it.
For a time period, but they get off on
the power.
Taking it and like not having consent or not having power over somebody.
Yeah.
Like that's what it is. So you can't like really just say, oh, it's like a loser and stuff like that. I mean, obviously they're a loser if they're doing that, just by definition. But I'm not saying that
he can get it the normal way. It's not his
could.
Only way of getting
and some of them do. Like I said, some of them have girlfriends and just like date like regular ass people, and then they're doing that shit on the sly. You know what I mean? Because they just get off on
stealing it.
Yeah,
basically.
Which is fucked up.
And some of them are just into like scaring the shit out of people or fucking torturing them.
Yeah.
And then some of them just include killing them. With a lot of them, they just kill them, just strangle them. They're not really into torturing them. They just don't want them to tell.
Yeah.
It's a serial rapist that murders people, that kills the victim. That's all it is. They're getting rid of the witness.
Klaus asks, will she be out, like released from jail?
No.
Doubt it.
No.
She's come up for parole, I believe, a couple of times, and they always were like, nah. And I think even the judge at the original trial, because she was put on trial back in the early 80s, he was just kind of like, nah, I don't think we're ever going to let her out. Well, because even after all this time, when they do, like, periodic reassessments and stuff, they're like, she really doesn't seem to have any insight at all. Like, she's still repeating the same bullshit story she told back then. She hasn't learned anything. She doesn't have any remorse.
Most of her kids survived and testified against her.
Well, 2 of her kids survived. One of them died.
One of them died. So they know she did it. It's not like, well, we're not sure. No, they know exactly what she did.
But she has never admitted it.
Yeah.
But they know she did it, though, because it was a stupid fucking story.
Now, let that bitch rot.
It's a stupid fucking story.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I was watching Casual Criminalist, which is Simon Whistler, and he was reading the script, which is given to him by someone else. So he didn't know anything about this story. So he's reading it, and he was like 5 minutes in and was like hearing about the story. He's like, I think this bitch killed the kid. And it's like, so even somebody not even trained in police work was just like, this story sounds implausible. You know what I mean? So yeah, so even at the time, the cops were just kind of like, even back in the 80s. They knew that she was full of shit. So yeah, just as like a teaser, this woman here, back in 1983, She shot her 3 children in the car, aged 7, 8, and 3. One of them died. 2 of them survived, but with, lifelong injuries. And then later went on to say that someone else had done it, that she'd been carjacked and all this other kind of crap. But like I said, the police really did not fall for that for any length of time. Like, pretty much as soon as she showed up at the hospital, they thought something sus was up. And she got arrested, not too long after that. But like I said, she has denied it the whole entire time. But she is in prison, but has never admitted any wrongdoing. This woman here seems to be like a classic case of just narcissistic, sociopathic. Everything to her was transactional. I feel like the kids were just in her way. She didn't really seem to give a shit about them. I think the only thing she cared about was being pregnant and having people pay attention to her. Once the kids showed up, she was just like, eh. Yeah. She didn't give a shit anymore. You know what I mean? Yeah. It was all about her. I think that's kind of what her whole deal was. And she still seems to be that way, even though she's an old lady now.
Yeah, it's just part of her personality.
Yeah. So yeah. People like that, I'm not really sure if they can be fixed. No. She was young when she was only 27 when she did this shit.
Well, you're assuming that she's broken. She's probably not. She's probably
That's the way she is.
That's the way she is. She's operating within the norms of whatever genetics and upbringing gave her. That's it. That's the product. She's a machine, basically.
Yeah.
An unfeeling machine.
I don't understand these kind of people. How you can fucking do this kind of crap.
It's me first.
Yeah.
The ultimate me
it's
first.
Look, everybody is selfish to some degree.
To a degree. Yeah.
But, it's on a spectrum, obviously, just like everyone else. But I can't imagine being so self-centered, being so self-absorbed, that it's just everyone else is just might as well not even exist. It's they're just in your way.
Yeah.
I can't imagine being like that.
I
know some people are, but
fucking, you guys know me. I don't really consider myself to be a good guy. I fucking, coming out of the kind of military units I came out of and just my history and shit, I'll take a motherfucker out. But there's got to be rules. You know what I mean? And I don't have a problem with it if it's somebody that's identified with the enemy. But I don't understand about killing innocent people who are not your enemy. That kind of that really disturbs me.
Well, it should disturb you. It is disturbing to a normal person.
Yeah, I love fighting. And fucking, if it's going to be a gunfight, we're going to kill people, and you're with your boys and shit, you're going to annihilate them, and fucking, even though it's fucking ridiculous when you think about it, because guys in other armies are dudes just like you, they haven't done anything wrong.
No.
It'd be even easier if I was, say, killing people I thought were evil. Fucking, dudes that had done wrong to me. That's very easy. But just somebody who fucking hasn't asked for it, and hasn't done anything wrong, it's a little nah, it doesn't fucking give you the same jolt. You don't have that Conan experience,
I'm not having the Conan experience.
The Conan experience, fucking.
That would be a good ride at Universal
Conan
Studios.
Yeah.
The Conan.
My internal world looks like those.
They're gonna hook you up to the Wheel of Pain or whatever.
My internal fucking world emotionally looks like that fucking. The dude that did all those Conan paintings, fucking, what's his name? Fucking
Frank Frazetta.
Frank Frazetta, yeah. All my shit looks like a Frank.
That's what the inside of Tom's head looks like.
She can attest to it.
Picture
Frank Frazetta pictures. I look at Frank Frazetta pictures and I'm just like, yeah, oh yeah, oh hell yeah. That's the world I came from. I totally understand that, but to fuck this cold-blooded shit, wiping out your own children. You know what I mean? They're not even your enemy's children. But you're wiping out your own children just because you want to replace them and get a new man or whatever? No. That's fucking...
And the sad thing about it was that, well, the whole thing is sad, but the sad thing about it was the man she was trying to get didn't even really want her.
Yeah. And wiping out your enemy's children, that's a reality. Fucking my army did that. They dropped fucking bombs all over fucking... 43 of the Japanese fucking cities and just burned them to the ground. Fucking incendiary bombs and shit. Men, women, and children. Burned them all. And then fucking what they did to the Germans, fucking perfectly good women and children sleeping in their beds at night, fucking burning Dresden down, killing millions of people. And then they said we were the heroes. The U.S. Army. No, come on. This isn't a world of good versus evil. It's a world of evil versus evil.
Or slightly less evil
Yeah.
versus worse evil.
Yeah.
I kind of
The Germans weren't destroyed because they were evil. They were destroyed because they weren't as evil as the Russians.
Everyone kind of sucks.
The Russians were fucking far more
Not
evil.
everyone. But most people kind of
Yeah.
suck to some
Yeah.
Like I said, it's just kind of like, and like I said, I think that is the capacity you have for selfishness.
Yeah.
That's kind of along the same spectrum.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Some people are actually really, really good people and would never do anything like
Yeah.
that. There are actually a lot of people like that.
Yeah, most people wouldn't do this. Most people wouldn't do this.
No, of course not.
Most people would kill an enemy. It's understandable.
Yeah,
So
most
you saw
people would
somebody
do
rape
that.
your wife, you're going to kill that dude.
Of course, most people would do
Most
the
people
same
would do
thing.
that.
And nobody would,
Yeah.
I don't think anyone
Yeah, here in the U.S., the jury let you walk.
I don't
Jury
think
let you
anyone
walk
would
here.
begrudge you. Be like, yeah, he had that
Yeah,
kind of...
I believe that. Even
You know
though
what I mean?
by law that you would be guilty of murder, but there's no jury that would convict you.
Yeah, but
Not
still, it's just kind of like all the time I see like true crime shows and it's like this dude did this, that, and the other thing, and then somebody shot him. I was like,
Yeah, fuck that dude.
nothing of value was lost. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, not to be
Yeah.
an asshole, but
There was a little famous case that happened here in an American town where we're the worst dude in that town. Everybody hated him. He got gunned down in the middle of the fucking town and nobody saw it happen. Never did catch who did it.
nobody saw it.
Nobody saw it.
Everybody saw it.
Everybody fucking saw
But
it.
nobody blabbed.
Nobody ratted.
That was Ken Rex McElroy.
Yeah.
I read
He was
about
a
him
piece of shit.
It was a long time ago. It happened like was it the 60s?
I think it was 60s.
I think it was the
Early
60s.
60s. He was a piece of shit. The whole town knew
Yeah,
he
he
was a piece
sucked.
of shit.
Everybody hated him.
Yeah.
I mean, he really sucked.
He was a dickhead.
And like some people, like just a bunch of people were like, yeah, we're gonna kill this
We're gonna kill this
motherfucker.
bitch.
Because he was just like a menace. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you couldn't get
And
him
like,
with the law.
and like the law wouldn't do anything to him and all this
Yep.
other kind of stuff. So people just kind of got
they took him
together
out.
and had a meeting and were just like,
Yeah.
and they never talked about it.
Yeah.
Nope, didn't see nothing.
Yeah.
And I was like, good for them.
Frontier justice, but most of the
Good
United
for
States
them.
is a frontier.
Good for them.
Yeah, when you get outside of a big
We
city,
might have
it's all
done a show
frontiers.
about that. I know I
Yeah.
wrote about
I think
that
we did a show about that. Yeah.
because that's technically an unsolved murder.
Yeah.
Because
And there was a lot of that shit happening.
Because nobody would admit to like who did it.
Yeah.
But like
There-
I said, I was like, fair play to them. Like nobody's
Yeah.
blabbed in like all these decades, because that's how much they hated that motherfucker.
Yeah, there's all kinds of shit they quieted up and that happened here. Fucking communist revolution, fucking happened up in Michigan, I think it was, or Ohio, I don't remember. Fucking back in the 30s, involved a bunch of shooting, and the fucking army fought them and everything. A war broke out over an election in a town, and then they fucking held a second election. All kinds of shit has happened here over the years. It's wild, man.
Count Warlock says, Tom, do you know the Peter Contos murder case? I've been wanting to do a show about that, actually.
Sounds
It's
familiar.
been in the list. It's been in the poll a couple times. but it
Remind me
never
what
wins.
case was that?
Massachusetts in the 90s. He was an Air Force reservist, a security officer who lived a double life. He had a girlfriend and 2 kids, but was married, and he ended up killing somebody. Yeah.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah.
I've probably heard of it.
I've put it in the poll a couple times, but it never wins. Varg Norway points out Diane Downs, she did escape once. Yes, she did. They caught her like after a few days, but yeah, she did escape in the late 80s. Just climbed over the fence, you know what I mean? Like you do. Talking about I hear she's lately been accusing her poor old daddy of raping her. I think she did that. She's been doing that since her trial, as far as I'm aware.
The thing is that you can't really trust a woman like this. They'll say anything.
Well, see, that's what I mean. And that's what's kind of shitty about it, is that it's entirely possible that her dad was abusive and her dad... I mean, he sounds kind of like that type of dude. But the fact that she's such a raging narcissist and also a murderer, a child murderer, you can't really trust anything she says.
Yeah.
You know, and that's not to say that, like, bad shit didn't happen to her when she was growing up. Maybe it did.
Yeah.
You know, but it's like you can't really trust her.
Casey Anthony said the same thing. She was local here,
Yeah.
and she said that her dad she lied though, and fucking Dr. Matt, guy I used to work for, used to take care of his fucking huge house. He's fucking rich as shit. His mother made or founded Orlando General Hospital. His son worked at the court where they were trying her. He knew all about that case. He told me months before. He says, "No, she's going to walk. We don't have anything on her." And I said, "Did she do it?" She goes, "Yeah, yeah, she did it. But you're never really going to be able to prove that's murder." He was right. She walked. Then she went to work for the fucking attorney who hired her. You know, I heard that they had a thing going on. She was cute, but she was crazy, and I think she killed that kid
Some dudes
accidentally.
don't care about that.
Oh, yeah, some dudes thought that was hot, I guess.
Yeah, they're like,
They thought she was hot.
She might be a murderer.
I don't think she killed the kid on purpose. I think she was fucking some other dude and had the kid in the trunk, restrained, and tried to tell her to go to sleep.
Like you
she
do,
was using the trunk,
tying your kid up and putting him in the trunk.
Yeah.
We've all been there.
Yeah, you know how you might have to tie him up. And then I think she overslept and the kid cooked. The kid cooked in the trunk. That's what I think happened.
Look, bro, this is Florida. If you leave your kid in the car when you go to the grocery store, you will absolutely get arrested.
Yeah.
Actually, if you leave your dog in the car...
They'll bust the fucking windows out.
They'll bust the windows out.
They'll bust the windows out and fucking grab the dog. You have to go to the police department to get the dog.
And rightly so. Don't leave your fucking dogs or your kids or anybody
I saw
in
the
fucking
cops
car. In Florida.
Yeah, I saw the fucking cops fucking just dressed the shit out of some woman. She was some Latina woman. I don't think she was American. I think she was just living here. And he fucking went off on her. She goes, "You get that fucking dog out of that car. You fucking..." She's, "But I did this. You get that fucking dog out of the car. I'm going to break every fucking window." The cops let her have it. So don't you ever do that. Yeah. She had the little dog in the damn SUV.
Yeah, I mean, why would you?
Yeah. Dog,
like, it's different if somebody runs in and you're staying in there with them and the air conditioning is on and shit like that.
The cops did not give a shit. They saw that dog in that car and they fucking went off. She was in the Starbucks waiting in line. So don't you ever do that. You leave the window open.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah.
You don't know how long you're going to take.
Yeah, he says, "I'll break every window in that fucking..." She said, okay. I will break every fucking window in that car.
Yeah.
Because he can. He's a cop. This is Florida. They don't fucking play.
And honestly, even if somebody else did it, they probably wouldn't do anything to you.
Yeah.
Because it was like, hey, there was a dog in there, or there was a baby in there.
Yeah, to punish you, they'll break every window.
Yeah. High Desert says, you should look into the case of Jean-Claude Romand. Yeah. He was a French murderer who killed his parents and family after they found out he faked being a doctor for 20 years. That sounds like a good case. I wrote it down. I'll put that in the next poll. Granther says, Susan Smith killed her son so her coworker, Piggly Wiggly, would date her. Yeah, didn't we do a show about Susan Smith? She was the one that put the kids in the car and pushed the car into
the water. Yeah.
Why? It's...
what did it have to do with Piggly Wiggly?
She worked at Piggly Wiggly, and the guy that she had a crush on. Yeah. It's kind of, you know what? This is kind of the same. This bitch here, Diane Downs. This is kind of the same situation because she was dating. Well, she wasn't really dating him because he was married, so they were having an affair, and so she was obsessed with him, and she thought in her strange fucking mind that by getting rid of her kids that he would
come back or something,
come back to her.
Yeah.
So it was the same kind of thing. And it's like, it's so weird to me because like these chicks are, you know, I don't know what happened in their childhood where it's like they think these just mediocre loser dudes that are just working at Piggly Wiggly or whatever. It's like, you know, no shade to people that work at Piggly Wiggly. Everybody gotta have a job.
It's not like he's a billionaire.
But it's not, yeah.
It's not like that's Elon Musk.
Like, you know what I mean? It's just like, it's just a dude.
Yeah.
There's lots of those. Yeah. You know what I mean? They're everywhere. Yeah. And I don't really understand getting like so fucking like obsessed with this one fucking dude so much so that you're like, you know what? I'm going to kill my kids so he'll like me more.
Yeah, it's just delusional thinking.
Like, what the fuck? What are you thinking?
It's like we'll be single again. We'll start over.
Yeah.
Well, they probably
and then she's like, I killed my kids for you. What the fuck? Get the fuck away from me, you psychopath.
They probably blame the breakup on the kids. They're like, well, you know, it was okay before we had kids. Then had the kids, he lost interest. It's probably some shit like that.
This is crazy. It's crazy.
You had that one dude who killed his own kids so he could divorce his wife, remember?
Yeah. And dudes do it too.
Yeah, dudes do it too.
Like, they just see kids as, like, an obstacle or, like, you know, just an encumbrance.
Yeah.
Like, to what they actually want to do.
Yeah, it's the same empty kind of motherfucker, too. When you see him, you're like, man, it's like, they're more like an automaton or a robot.
Yeah.
They're not like a real person. Like, some people go fucking, when people were saying NPCs, they go, oh, that's bullshit. And then other people were like, no, we've done some psychological tests. There are some people that are basically NPCs. And then other people online, oh, that's ridiculous. No, yeah, it's true. These are NPCs. There are some people that don't have higher functions. They're just like a robot. They're humans, but they don't have the same capacity.
They might not all be there.
They don't have all this. They don't have the same capacity for consciousness. They're aware of themselves, but not really aware of others. They're just, you know. They're a robot.
Yeah, Victor
They're
says
AI.
Victor says Chris Watts killed his whole family so he could be with his coworker.
Yeah.
She might have helped. Yeah, it's like I don't get this whole. I understand it more if it's like a teenager. Okay, because it's like a teenager. I'm not excusing it again, but it's like teenagers are.
They're not quite as developed.
They're not quite as developed. It's
Yeah.
like everything is the end of the fucking world. It's like everything's a big fucking deal. Like once you're older, like in your 30s or 40s, why are you doing that shit?
Yeah.
I don't really understand why you would get so fucking obsessed with somebody that you would kill your whole entire family or your kids or something like that just so you could be with this person. It's like the dick or the pussy isn't magic. Okay, it's not that good.
There's all these emotional dependencies and all these self-image and shit.
Yeah, they got fucking problems.
But it's still, it ends up being fucking all about them. It's just them.
Yeah, it's just what they want. Yeah.
It's solipsism. And that's part of being an NPC. It's only about them.
They think everyone else is just not really fully human.
They have not fully grasped their fucking position in the universe. You know, I'm talking about how they're just one single cog in the universe. And to their point of view, they're the center of the universe because that's all they know.
I've noticed a lot of people act like they think they're the center of the universe.
They can't see themselves as part of a system. You know,
I literally never thought that ever. It's just like I don't understand. But I know, like, an alarming number of people I know that.
Guarantee you, bugs feel that way. Bugs
maybe
are like that. Yeah. And another thing, I've seen monkeys.
Everything's here just for me.
I've seen monkeys pet dogs and cats, and I can tell. No, that dog knows that monkey knows that dog is a thing, and that it experiences, or it wouldn't be petting it.
Yeah.
You know, and going and trying to do something nice for the dog.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
even monkeys can figure it out.
Right, even monkeys can have certain.
So what's your problem?
Certain higher cognitive functions.
Yeah.
Now, can that monkey fucking plan some shit out? No.
Probably maybe for the day.
But it understands reciprocation.
Yeah.
And
most mammals do.
You're right. And fairness.
Most mammals do.
Dogs know about fairness. You gave that other dog too much food. I didn't get that much. So that's
and then they get mad.
Yeah.
Yeah, they understand.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like that's what freaks me out about like these kind of people. It's just like, look, if dogs and cats and monkeys can figure it out, you can figure it out. You know, it's obviously
just because you're a human doesn't mean you're above them. You're just different. You have certain mental faculties that other primates and other mammals don't have. But it's not really like qualitative differences between us. It's more like quantitative differences.
Yeah.
It's different ratios, you know. Like a chimpanzee has amazing memories. They can remember series of shapes and fucking
better than a human
can, and they can just remember sequences. A human could never do that, but a chimp can. Why? I don't know. It's just something genetic that they can do.
I know. I saw those
Why
those
do they
studies
need
and stuff.
that?
Like I'm like, oh, holy crap.
Yeah, and evidently magic tricks don't work.
They're
on chimps.
way better at it than humans are.
Yeah, and a lot of
Way
magic
better.
tricks don't work on them. They was trying to get a thing to open up the drawer, and the monkey just went, or the chimp just went, nah, fuck that, just picked it up and grabbed it to take it.
Quit farting around.
Yeah, it didn't. You know, they were trying to make a human child would do the exact same thing the human would do to get the thing, because you showed the child how to do it, but then you show the monkey, and the monkey goes, no, fuck that, just pick it up, and there it is, right there.
Yeah.
There's no reason to go through all that.
It's like, quit trying to bamboozle me.
Yeah, right, yeah.
You know what I mean? Gramther says, half the people in prison would be a decent neighbor. They just made a bad decision at a bad moment. I do agree, because I do kind of feel like a lot of the people that are in jail or prison for various things, like you said, they just did something stupid. You know, they got drunk or they got mad or something like that. And it's like normally they wouldn't. Not everybody in there is serial killers, obviously.
Yeah, that's just jail, though.
That's what I'm saying.
You go into maximum security prisons, it's different.
Yeah, those people are kind of like repeat offenders. And it's not necessarily always violent stuff. Like some of them just like, I can't stop robbing banks. You know?
Stealing, yeah. A lot of it's stealing and sexual assaults.
Yeah, well, that's not great. That's still a violent crime. I was talking about like not violent.
Well, stealing, sexual assault is a form of stealing. Like, you're not going to go through all this. I'm just going to take a pussy.
Well, if you think of women as objects,
they do.
Then yeah,
they do. They do. Well, it's just, they've robbed purses from them. They robbed this from them and that from them. Then they're going to rob an ass from them. It's just stealing, you know, to them.
Yeah, maybe they don't think of it as that big of a deal. Like, they don't think of it as a violent crime, which
No.
it is.
No, it's just a form of stealing.
That's crazy.
Well, they don't associate with the female too much.
Obviously.
No.
That's pretty obvious.
No, it's just another thing they could steal.
Ian Findlay says, speaking of the Frank Frazetta,
Yeah.
are you guys aware of the channel that his granddaughters got here on YouTube? I was not.
No, check it
But
out.
I'm gonna have to look that. I'll look
What is she talking about? She talking about his art?
We could find it. Frank Frazetta, granddaughter.
Yeah, Frazetta's my favorite artist.
Yeah, Sophie bought us that print of one of his paintings and stuff.
It's not print. It's an oil painting, but it's a oil reproduction.
Yeah.
But it's on canvas. Pretty nice.
Counter Alex says, Jenny, Peter Contos was going to be my manager when I worked security at HP. Killed his girlfriend and 2 kids, but was married the whole time. Yeah, see, I mean, we'll have to do a show about that guy. It's in the list. Like, I definitely have it. Smug side that I think Casey Anthony totally killed her kid, but her father and mother definitely had a hand in covering it up. Really, the brother seems to be the only one I feel any sympathy for in that family. Yeah, they all kind of seem... Like I said, this is kind of a story like that was kind of a story like this one where everyone sucks.
Most family members will try to help a daughter or a son if they get in trouble, though. Just the way it is. Who knows what they told
I
them?
don't have any kids, but I like to think that if I had a kid and they grew up and they were in their 20s and I found out they were a serial killer, I'd like to think I would turn them in.
Yeah, that's not the same deal, though. Who knows what she told her parents? Oh, I fell asleep and the kid was in the trunk. Or, I don't know what happened. Somebody knocked me out. You know. He gave me drugs and I woke up, the kid was in the trunk dead. Cooked.
I don't know, man. Still. I don't know. Like, family shit only goes so far.
I don't think she killed the kid on purpose.
Probably not. But, I mean, it's still... It's negligence, though, at the very least.
Oh, yeah. It's a form of homicide.
Yeah.
It'd be manslaughter.
Yeah, that's negligent homicide at the very least.
Negligent homicide is killing a human being by a fucking lack of action. In other words, as a person drowning, you could easily save him, but you don't.
Yeah.
You know, something like that.
CB says monkeys are more like humans because they kill their own and sexually assault the females. Yeah, they do. Some species more than others. But
humans are more like chimps.
Yeah.
And more like the bonobos, actually.
We're kind of equally in between chimps and bonobos. Whereas chimps are a lot more like aggressive and violent. Bonobos are kind of a lot more chill. They can be violent, but not usually. They're a lot more like sexual.
And they have a sense of humor.
Yeah.
I saw that dude who's real famous. He can learn a language in about a week. And he's got a YouTube channel. And he went and learned chimp, their gestures, and he went to a bonobo like research facility and shit. They were and he fucking had a blast with the bonobos, and he could do bonobo stuff, and the bonobo looked at him like, and the chimp pointed. He understands, and they were like, and
they were like,
whoa, he understands. Yeah, but the face,
he gets us, man.
The body language of a bonobo's fucking even more than a chimp, which is a type of chimpanzee. It's just
there are different species, but
yeah, the bonobos are just like, they're very human in the way that they move and the way they interact with you, you know. But fucking, he made a bonobo thing. He got on his back and put his feet up against the glass and fucking slammed him like that from the other side. And the male bonobo saw that and went, and then he called the other ones. He knows how to do it. He knows. He's
on to us.
He knows how to do it. So then they started doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were like, yeah. You know,
that's pretty cool.
Pointing at him and just clapping their hands and looking, yeah, you're the man. And then the other one he's going, come on, pointing over here and wanted him to go around the other side. Because there was like a little airlock there. He gave him something. He gave him water. The bonobo gave him a piece of fruit, or rewarded him for what he did. Bizarre, man.
Like I said, they're not
trying to trade. Yeah, that was you're cool. I'm trying to give him some. I forgot if he gave him a fucking cantaloupe or some water. I don't remember what it was. He there was a thing that they could talk through, like a little sign language, and he told the woman that worked there to give him some water. Which reward that motherfucker. He knows how to speak our language.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what that meant.
Like I said, they're not dumb.
It's like, wow.
They can figure shit out.
Yeah.
They're smarter than some people I know.
Yeah.
For real. Actually, my cats are smarter than some people I know. Cam Guy says, when one rooster chases another rooster off a hen, he will immediately mount that hen and attempt to overwrite the first rooster's DNA. Yeah, a lot of species.
Yeah, it's called sperm competition.
Yeah, a lot of species will do
Yeah,
that.
dogs will do that.
Dogs do that too.
Monkeys and chimps will do it too.
Yeah, they're like, oh, we're just gonna erase that last one. Yeah. That didn't happen. Yeah. I know. That's fucking. And the poor females just are kind of like, here we go again. You know what I mean? It's not great. But you know what I mean? What can they do about it? Not much. All right, so let's finally get into. Oh, that Shirley says, what actress would you have play this woman? You can name more than one. Well, the only actress we know of that did play her was Farrah Fawcett, which was actually, I think, a pretty good choice. She looks kind of like her. She's actually like a lot better looking, obviously, Farrah Fawcett is. But she has that same kind of look, I guess. And it's, same era. I don't know. I can't really think of anybody offhand. But, yeah, this woman is like fucking, I don't know. She's a fucking sociopath. Big time. And she might have always been like that. I'm not real sure. You know? Alright, so let's talk a little bit about, we'll kind of get into her past, and then we'll kind of get into the incident, if you want to call it that. So she was actually born Elizabeth Diane Frederickson. That was her maiden name. And she was born in 1955 in Phoenix, Arizona. And she was the oldest child of, her mom's name was Willadine, which I was like, I don't think I've ever heard that name before. That's kind of a weird name. And Wesley Frederickson. Now, her parents were kind of your stereotypical, super, super strict, religious, almost fundamentalist, like Dutch English type of people. They were like super, super conservative. Like in the sense that it's like you can't wear makeup, you can't wear like any kind of, you have to wear like long dresses all the time. Like not quite Mormon-y or anything like that, but along those lines. It was like super, super strict. Now her dad was, I think he worked at UPS or something like that. And he was real, according to everybody that knew him, it's like I said, I don't know, because I know she made claims later on that he was abusive and that he had molested her for many years. I don't know if that's true or not. Given the type of dude he is, being super, super religious, being super, super authoritarian, it wouldn't shock me. It's usually those types of dudes that do that kind of stuff. But it's like, I don't know. I wasn't there. But he was, like I said, very strict with their schoolwork and everything like that. She did have, like, a bunch of siblings that were younger than her. Like I said, she was the oldest. I think she had 3 or 4 that were younger. So her mom was just kind of your standard, like, 50s era housewife. From all accounts, her mom was kind of not, well, I don't know if I want to say neglectful, but she was just very under the thumb, I guess, of her husband. And she was always like kind of doing things for him. And at least according to what the kids said later, that it's like she was always more concerned with his needs than their needs, I guess. It's just kind of how it sounded to me. Like I said, some of this comes from Diane Downs herself, so take it with a grain of salt. She might be exaggerating. She might not be. I don't really know. But, that's what she's saying about her upbringing. So Diane, throughout her childhood, as I said, because her parents were very strict and very religious, she was not allowed to wear makeup. She wasn't allowed to wear kind of trendy clothes, so she always had to wear, like, hand-me-downs and, kind of dowdy-looking stuff. So she got bullied a lot. She got made fun of because she looked weird, you know what I mean? And so there was that. So she apparently started getting really resentful about this. And when she was about 14 years old, she started like rebelling against, the strictures of her parents. she started like sneaking out of the house, doing stuff with boys, shit like that. Now, so she goes to high school at Moon Valley High School. And while she's in high school, she meets Steve Downs, who's another student. I think he was a little bit older than her, but not, I mean, he was a student and she was, but it's like there wasn't a huge age gap in between, you know what I mean? Now, her parents did not like him at all. They thought he was too immature for her, because she was actually quite intelligent, and she did quite good in school. But the fact that they did not like him made her like him more. You know what I mean? Because she was trying to like rebel against them, right? So they're like, we don't want you seeing that boy. She's like, oh, well, that makes him even more alluring. You know what I mean? So I kind of feel like that kind of shit is probably what defined her relationships, like, going forward, probably. So she graduated in 1973. So it's weird because she's about the same age as my parents are then. Because my parents graduated in 72, because that was the same year I was born. So she actually, after she graduated, this is kind of interesting, she enrolled at Pacific Coast Baptist Bible College in Orange, California. She was actually going to be a missionary because, like I said, she grew up in a really religious household. Even though, weirdly, she rebelled against it, but then decides to go to Bible college. I don't know. I don't think she knew what the fuck she was doing. But she was only there for, like, a semester or two. And she was kind of, like, slutting around. Like you do. And she got kicked out. Because she was very promiscuous. So they're like, yeah, you're not keeping with our standards of the Bible college. So they threw her out. So she actually had to go back home to her parents in Phoenix, like with her tail between her legs.
She sounded like a pathological slut.
Yeah, well, I think, like I said, I think it happens a lot with girls that are raised in real conservative religious households. A lot of them, when they get to a certain age, they just bust out and go like the complete opposite. Not all of them, but it's pretty common.
I mostly saw it with girls that were looking for approval. Yeah, they don't, not very popular and fucking don't have a fucking identity or
that too.
Yeah.
And they feel like that's the only way that they will be accepted,
attention.
that they're going to get attention.
Yeah.
They might not get attention any other way.
Right.
It's like you said, maybe they're not popular or they are not good at other things. So they feel like, hey, if I sleep around, people will like me.
Yeah, and I noticed it when I was in high school.
When
I was in high school, I went to an international high school in Brazil. One of the high schools. And I went to high school with Gramps. He's in there in Michigan. I went to 2 different high schools. When I was at the international high school in Brazil, when I was in 9th and 10th grade, I noticed that the 8th grade girls were slutting around, trying to get in with the high school guys, the 9th graders.
Yeah.
Because the other 8th grade boys, they didn't give a shit about 8th grade boys. They wanted 9th and 10th grade boys.
Well, yeah, they wanted the older men.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was just funny because I kind of understood it. You looked at the 8th grade girl, she did look like a high school student. You looked at the 8th grade boy, it looked like a 5th grader. There's a big difference. It was
like a original Karate Kid kind of thing.
Yeah, like
where
Karate
Ralph
Kid.
Macchio looked like he was about 14.
Yeah.
And his girlfriend looked like she was about 20.
Yeah, like 20. Yeah, the girlfriend looked like she was ready for porn. And he was ready for fucking middle school. Yeah.
I like the Karate Kid, like the original movie from the 80s, but it's just kind of like that always weirded me out. He just looked really, dude, I mean, guys tend to look younger.
Yeah.
Girls age, mature much faster.
It sucked, man, because when I was in 9th grade, man, fucking none of the girls want to go out with you. Because you're a fucking freshman.
Yeah, gross.
And then all the fucking, because we went to school, all the 8th graders were after me.
But then you couldn't go out with them.
But you couldn't go out with them, and you'd be laughed at.
Yeah,
you'd be laughed at. And they were, and in some cases,
what are you robbing the cradle for?
And in some cases, they were only 6 months younger.
Yeah. But still, it was just the principle.
You're like, an 8th grader? Yeah, right.
Klaus says, you went to high school in Brazil? What the fuck?
Yeah, I went to an international high school.
Yeah, he did. He lived in
I'm
Brazil
a government brat. My mother worked for the State Department.
Yeah. So he lived in Brazil for a while, speaks Portuguese and everything.
Yeah. Yeah. And then went back there later. My mother stayed there for a long time, almost 12 years. I've told a story so many times. This is fucking frustrates me. I'll be telling you all these stories and shit. And sometimes I'll go back in the old and look at the comment sections from like a year back, and people will fucking chime in. Like, who is this? Like that dude. You know, they just call me that dude. They don't even know my name and shit. And they think I'm just making shit up. I got a fucking interesting background. Fucking my whole family was high-level government servants and fucking defense contractors.
Yeah,
going back generations, and organized crime and special operations and shit, and all that shit. Which there's crossover between all that. So some of this shit that I was telling you about, and I'm friends with dudes that fucking went to army. I was in the army with dudes who ended up being like assassins. They're in prison right now, and they were doing this shit for fucking Central and South American governments, fucking international mercenaries. His name is fucking Timothy Van Vakius. He's in prison right now. You can Google his name. They were gonna make a movie about him. He and his fucking international band, they were like the fucking Expendables. They killed hundreds of people. They were a death squad for political reasons. And imagine if you went up the chain, it was for the CIA. Trying to keep these people under control, trying to keep Central and South America under control. So I'm saying we don't live in a world of good versus evil. It's evil versus evil. And the United States has never really been the good guy. We got great PR, though. Great public relations. Hollywood, fucking all this bullshit. But no. The shit we did to Central and South America over the past couple hundred years, fucking horrible.
Smokicide says, I'm 28 and 10 years later, I still look roughly the same as I did back in high school.
Yeah.
Aside from some wrinkles. Yeah, I was in high school a long time ago. I graduated in 1990. Tom graduated you graduated in 87, right? Yeah, because I know you 3 years
Yeah, and I
older.
graduated in Brazil.
Yeah. But yeah, he did go to, not the whole time, but like for a significant amount of time.
Yeah.
Because he went in Michigan too a little while.
Yeah, I went to Brazil twice. I went to that same high school twice, and then I went once in Michigan, Trenton, Michigan. I think that was for 2 years. I'm not sure, maybe a year. I went to high school for 5 years because I lost credits. Because when I went back to Brazil, they wouldn't accept my credits from the United States because
So like we're not accepting credits from that dumbass country.
yeah.
Come on now.
They wouldn't accept all of them.
You didn't learn anything.
Well, it was an IB school. It was International Baccalaureate,
yeah.
which is kind of like college. So I didn't go to university for long. I dropped out later after I got out of the Army. I couldn't stand it. After I got out of the Army, went back and was in went to Massachusetts and went to Bay State College, which was a private college in Boston. And I lasted like a semester and a half. Man, this is shit so stupid. And I was working on an accounting degree. And I'm glad that I fucking dropped out of that shit because I'd have made a horrible accountant. It's just the most boring shit ever.
It is really boring. I think I would have been like, that's kind of, well, hi. Poop.
Excel does all that
Yeah.
now, and scanners. You don't need that shit.
I mean, my mom worked as an accountant for a very long time. That's what my grandfather wanted me to go to college for.
Yeah.
I would have been good at it. I'm actually good at math, but it's like, I think it would have driven me crazy.
I'd have made a better engineer, like a fucking mechanical engineer or aerospace engineer like my grandfather. But I didn't really have the math skills back then. Back then, you had to be able to do advanced mathematics in your head. If you couldn't do it in your head, then fucking they were doing algebra in their head and shit. There were no computers, you know. My granddad did all that shit on a slide rule. Come on, book it.
All right, so
Yeah.
where was I? Okay, so because she was slutting around, no judgment, she got kicked out of Bible college. So she goes back to Arizona, and then in November of 1973, when she was 18 years old, she actually ended up eloping, like marrying Steve Downs, you know, from high school. Now he had joined the Navy in the interim. She basically said, one thing about her, like I said, she's a sociopath. So she basically said, I didn't marry him because I loved him. I married him to get out of the family. Like, that's why. That's the only reason. So I kind of feel like a lot of her relationships over the years were like that. Were just transactional. It's like she wanted something, and that's why she did it. You know what I mean? As we'll see as time goes on. But yeah, that was basically why she married him, because she wanted to get away from her family. And that just seemed the way to do it. So that's what happened. So she married him, and he was in the Navy. So, as I mentioned earlier, she did say later that her dad had sexually abused her. There was all kind of stories about it, like him taking her out in a car, and there was one story that I saw that they talked about in Casual Criminalist where he took her out, like, driving in the desert and made her take all her clothes off, and then, like, a cop pulled them over. And she was, like, half dressed. You know what I mean? Like, she tried to get... I don't know if that happened or not, but like I said, I'm not doubting it necessarily. I'm just... Because it's coming from her, you know what I mean? You can't really tell. But regardless of whether it actually happened or if she kind of lied about it trying to get sympathy, I mean, that's still... It's fucked up either way, right? So, basically, okay, so by the time she was in her late teens, let's say, by the time she got married, she was showing signs of histrionic behavior. Just everything was a huge drama. Everybody had to pay attention to her, like, you know, very attention-seeking. And, again, kind of very transactional in her relationship. She didn't really seem to have any deep connections with anyone. She was just kind of like, if she wanted something, she would take it. You know what I mean? She didn't really worry about anybody's feelings or anything like that. Which I guess you can kind of get away with a little bit when you're a teenager, but once you get older, it's kind of like people aren't going to put up with it anymore. You know what I mean? So it was kind of like that. So the thing about it, so she gets married, and Steve's in the Navy, so he's gone a lot. And you know what that probably means. Is that she's just gonna fucking sleep around, which she did. Now, they did actually have a kid, because like I said, you know, she's known for killing her kids. So they were actually, you know, 2 of them were Steve's. 1 of them was not, as we will find out. She got pregnant first in 1974. Their first daughter was named Christie Ann. And the marriage, which should not be surprising because she said, you know, I just married him to get the fuck away from my family. So it wasn't great. He was gone a lot. You know, she just seemed to, she was raising kids on her own. She didn't really seem to give a shit about the kids. Like I said, it seemed like she liked being pregnant because she was like the center of attention and she would get stuff. But once the kid came along, she really didn't seem to give a crap anymore. But she was in military housing and shit like that. So they had their first daughter, who was Christy, in 1974, and then Cheryl Lynn was born in 1976. Now, both of those daughters were Steve's. They're, as far as I know, they're 100% sure. But their marriage was not great, like I said. She was fucking around. I think he was also fucking around. Like, don't feel too sorry for Steve, because he was also kind of a piece of shit. He was also abusive. And he kind of sucked also. So, sucky people kind of tend to find each other, I guess, is what happened in this situation.
Birds of a feather.
Everyone sucks here. Like I said, I'm pretty sure he was fucking around too. But then he got mad at her for fucking around. You know, it's a whole thing. So yeah. And the weird thing about it is she really didn't seem to make any... She wasn't secretive about it. Flirting with other dudes and shit like that. She was just kind of like open about it. Yeah, what are you going to do about it? It was kind of like that. Now, at one point, right around 1977, Steve didn't want any more kids, and he got a vasectomy. But from what I read, he didn't go back to, like, the follow-up appointment, and I guess so he thought he was shooting blanks, but he actually wasn't. So she got pregnant again, because for a while he thought she was cheating on her, but when they did the DNA test, no, it was... you know, it did turn out, he went back to the doctor and they said, no, the vasectomy didn't take. So you actually are still firing live rounds. So she got pregnant again and she got an abortion. And apparently this fucked her up, so she said. Because like I said, she was raised real religious and she said that she felt super, super guilty about it. Like she was at this fair or something and there was like some anti-abortion group there and they had like pictures of fetuses and all that bullshit like they usually have, and she got like real upset about it and she's like she felt like she needed to atone. Like I said, this is coming from her, so take everything with a grain of salt. She might just be trying to make herself look better. I'm not really sure, but yeah, so she said she felt really bad about that, and that might have like kind of, and she actually wanted more kids but her husband didn't. So, being her, she decides, well, there's another way to remedy this situation. I'm just going to go fuck another dude. Which she did. Yeah. So, she actually went and fucked another dude, Mark Sager. she had an affair with after Steve's vasectomy like actually went through, like the second time that he went back. And so they had a kid in 1979, Steve and Daniel. So who they called Danny, I believe. But yeah, so like I said, she wanted a kid. He didn't want to give her one. He'd had a vasectomy, so she said, well, I'll just go find somebody who will. You know what I mean? Now, I guess Steve didn't realize that Danny was not his until like a year later, like in 1980. So when he found out that that wasn't his kid, that pretty much spelled the end of the marriage. Like, he did kind of like hover around the sidelines, like he was kind of around, like they, you know, two of them were his kids, so you know he was kind of around still, but I think that was kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back kind of thing. So he filed for divorce after he found out that Danny wasn't his kid, and then they started having like all these custody battles, and obviously Diane at this stage, because she doesn't have you know, the husband anymore with the military benefits and all that other kind of stuff, like she doesn't have any financial security anymore. So she moved back to Arizona for a little while, and then she moved to Oregon. Now, she eventually ended up getting a job at the U.S. Postal Service. So she was like I think she was a postal carrier, is I think what she was. So she got hired at a place called Cottage Grove in Oregon in 1981. And, you know, she was a single mom, and everybody thought she was real good at her job and everything like that. I think that some of the other... Here's the thing. Like I said, remember how I said she didn't make a secret about flirting with dudes and stuff like that? She also, at the workplace, didn't make a secret about, like, you know, fucking around with dudes that, like, coworkers. Which maybe is more acceptable back then, but, like, nowadays you get in big fucking trouble. You know what I mean? And
no, that was just, I think that was just, they just did that back then.
Well, they did. People still do it now.
Yeah.
But it's like you have to be a lot more careful because... there's all kind of potential lawsuits and drama and shit like that.
Especially up north, with all that fucking human resource department and shit, they can fucking get you in trouble.
I gotta pee.
If you live up north, don't fuck around with your fucking coworkers.
Well, I mean, you probably shouldn't anyway, because if you break up, it's...
You break up, now you're working around them.
It's gonna be a huge deal. It's just
Yeah, it sucks. But the thing is, those fucking... If you're talking about like a minimum wage job or entry level job, you know, you're flipping burgers for a living, fucking, you know, you're running the fucking... you know, before I was in the service, I was working in restaurants. The kitchen crew and the wait staff, you know, fucking front of house and back of house, they were dating. A lot of the guys that were cooks were dating waitresses. After they got off at fucking night, depending on if it was a cool restaurant you work for, you know, they'd all go to the fucking strip club together. The girls would go to the strip club too. But, you know, it's because they were open all night. Fucking, you know, they were drinking in there more than anything else. But, yeah, you don't want to... Nowadays, you don't want to fuck around with the people that you work with. Because, especially if you're making a lot of money. Because, shit, you break up, you got to fucking deal with that bitch. But, you know, I think during the time that they're talking about the jobs that we're talking about with this chick here, and plus she's not... This chick here, she doesn't care, but
no, obviously
she's using sex as to move up in life. So
yeah, or
she's the kind of girl that would get a job, an entry level job, and then fuck her boss, even though he's married and she's married, so she can get a promotion, and that's always existed. You know, that's always existed. There's always been women that did that.
Well, yeah,
she was one of those.
Yeah, and it even seems to me that it's like she didn't even... I don't even think she didn't really seem to care about her, like, long-term future. Yeah. She was just kind of like, what do I want right now?
Yeah.
Like, it's like
There's
I said,
a lot of people
her husband got a vasectomy, and she was like, well, I want a baby, so I'm going to go fuck some other dude.
Yeah.
Like, that was all it was. Like, I think that it was just as simple as that. Like, I don't think she was thinking of any... And like I said, she didn't really care about the kids once they arrived. She just liked being pregnant. And I'm assuming she liked the attention because she was very narcissistic.
Yeah, kind of like fucking, what do you call it? Munchausen by proxy. Yeah. You know, you like the attention that your kid's sick. You know?
Yeah, it's like that kind of shit.
But she likes the attention that she's pregnant.
Because I mean, other than that, like, why the fuck would you enjoy being pregnant? It's a
well, there's some
it's
people.
really
There's
not
some women that
enjoyable.
love to have babies.
I know. It's like, but the thing
there's
about
some
it,
women that are pathological about it, though. Too.
Yeah.
All right, where it's not real healthy.
Everybody,
They don't want the baby. They just want the attention of being pregnant.
That's
And it's because they think they're doing their feminine duty, and they're like, "I'm a woman. I'm a real woman," you know.
Yeah.
Fuck, me and Jen ran into that recently. There's some chick. Oh, you don't have any kids? You don't have anybody to take care of? You know, like. But we know this chick. She's crazy.
Yeah, and I was
she's
just kind of like,
she's a fucking retired stripper.
and like the way she said it, I was just kind of like,
yeah, her whole thing is that I have children. Yeah,
I'm better than you.
Yeah, but that's
like,
all you have.
That was like the
that's all you
the
have.
The vibe that I got.
You don't have no damn money.
And I really
you can't pay the bar tab.
And I really don't like that attitude.
Yeah, so they have
like
that.
Have kids or don't. Like I don't judge either way. I'm not a big kid person. I just never wanted them.
Not all people, not all women that have children are like that. It's just that.
No.
It's like you're fucking running into a dude like, you don't drive a truck. Oh shit! You don't drive a truck, then you're not a man.
Yeah, it's like, well,
wait a minute, hold
has
on.
these little bitty
So what makes you a man is that you own a fucking truck
that they have to put everybody in.
What are you talking about?
There's kind of people get on my fucking nerves.
So if I have a fucking Porsche and a fucking Ferrari, I'm not a man? No. So if I have a Mustang fucking GT, I'm not a man? No, because it's not a truck. They got dudes that are like that. That's how fucking crazy they are. They got bikers that are like, they got fake bikers like that. If it's not a Harley Davidson, then it's not a motorcycle. So an Indian isn't a motorcycle? So a fucking...
Just very silly.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Some people have real problems.
So a fucking 1960-something or other 1973 Norton Commando is not a motorcycle? What are you talking about? You know, just those are dudes that don't know anything about motorcycles. Real bikers have a variety of motorcycles. Yeah, you're in a biker gang, fucking outlaw biker gang, you're going to have a Harley to get in there. But a lot of those guys have other motorcycles. That's not their only motorcycle.
Klaus gave us a super chat. Thank you very much.
Yeah, what did he say?
Nothing.
No,
he gave us a super chat.
Thank you very
much.
much.
It was just a silent super chat.
It's a silent super chat.
Silent but
He
deadly.
didn't even need to send us a message.
Yeah. Camp Guy said if I was married to her, I would get a vasectomy too. Yeah, I can't really say. Like I said, he kind of sucked also. But I mean, on the scale, on the spectrum of suckage, like she's way worse than he is. Just gonna say that right now. But yeah, he was no hero either. Like he was also fucking around, but you know. But yeah, she seems to be one of those people that, because like I said, I don't really know, and you know, yeah, everybody's different, but like being pregnant is like not fun. I don't, you know, some people might like it, some people might have a really good experience and shit like that, but you know, and I get that a lot of people like the outcome of it, you know, that's understandable, but like the actual process of it is just it's really not fun. So I think that she just liked the attention, you know, because you get attention like when you're just like, oh look, and the people are all touching what they want to touch your belly and stuff, which I think is weird, but like you know, I think she was into that because she was kind of an attention whore more than the actual kids, because when the kids showed up she just kind of neglected them. Even her ex-husband, at this point ex-husband Steve, he said that Diane like did not give a single shit like about those kids. Like she was super neglectful. It's like she wouldn't let them have any toys. Like she wouldn't let them like play with other kids. She just saw them as like an obstacle. Like they were just a pain in the ass. And I also heard that one time she told her daughter that like, I wish you'd been killed or you should be killed or something like that. She would say shit like that, like to like little kids. So, not great. Not Mother of the Year material, for sure. And the kids, obviously, because kids are not dumb, they could sense it. So, they had some issues as well. Now, so she's working at this post office, right? And like I said, she kind of had a little bit of a reputation for kind of, you know, being flirty for, like, at the very least. And, you know, kind of maybe sleeping around a little bit. Now, she's kind of divorced at this point, so it's like, it's not super problematic, but she did kind of hook up with this one dude, Robert Knickerbocker, also known as Nick. Now, he was married, but I guess him and her kind of hit it off, and they started an affair that lasted 2 years on and off, from like 1981 to 1983. Basically, she wanted marriage and kids and all this other kind of stuff, and he was just not into that. One, he already had a wife, and he kept saying, it's like, oh, we're gonna try and work it out. You know what I mean? Now, he was a hoe too, so like I said, he's no fucking hero either. He had a wife, but he fucked around all the time, and it's just kind of funny to me that he's like, at some point, like, I was watching the Simon Whistler thing about it, and he's just like, just one more affair, I swear this is my last one, and then I'm gonna stop. It was like that kind of shit, you know what I mean? It was kind of making me laugh, like the way he said it. But yeah, so it's like this kind of guy, yeah, I still want to work shit out with my wife, but I just want to fuck all these other, like, 20 women first. So it was like that kind of situation. So they hooked up for 2 years off and on, like I said. And she wanted marriage, kids, and stuff, and he was just not into it. He'd had a vasectomy, so he couldn't have kids either. And he really did not want anything permanent with her. He just wanted to fuck, and that was pretty much it, it seemed like. He was a little bit older than her. I don't really know how much older. But yeah. So Diane, apparently, this dude became, like, her fucking ideal for whatever reason. And I don't think I've ever seen him. So it's like, I'm sure he was nothing special. He's just some schlub working at the post office, probably. Like just some average dude like every other dude. But she just thought he was the fucking end-all, be-all. And she kind of started, like, obsessing over him a little bit. Stalking him. Shit like that. She started, like, sometimes he would be like, hey, can we knock it off for a little while? And then she would, like, write him all these letters and start calling him and shit like that. And then he reconciled with his wife at some point, and he even said later on that he believed that Diane would have killed his wife so that she could be with him. Like, so they could be together. So he even knew before she did the shit, like, what her number was. You know what I mean? He's like, oh, it wouldn't have surprised me at all. Like, if she'd have just killed my wife so we could be together. So there's that. So yeah. Like I said, the stuff about, like, her kids and everything, she just was not into it. It's also, at least according to Anne Rule's book, she said that, you know, no one's saying this outright. I don't think it was ever proved or anything like that. But the kids at school, like, did have, like, some bruises. They wouldn't be at school sometimes. Like, they'd be absent and no one really explained why. So it's possible she was also physically abusing them. But I'm not sure. But she for sure was, like, neglectful. Like I said, she just gave them shitty-ass clothes. She didn't give them any toys to play with. And she didn't really seem to give that much of a shit about him. She was, like, really neglectful. Now, see, what I was saying earlier about her... Well, hey, Pokey.
Yeah.
About her just really liking to be pregnant. 1982, she sees a program on TV about surrogacy. You know? Like, where you have a baby for somebody that, you know, a couple that's infertile or whatever. Like, they implant
Yeah, she's like, oh, that's my calling.
And, yeah, and she thought, oh, man, that's what I need to do.
Yeah.
So she wanted to go do that, and she went to the clinic or whatever, and they do, like, a lot of tests and stuff to make sure, you know, you're not.
We know one of those, Annie.
Yeah.
Annie's had like 12 kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not
like
gonna...
half of them for money, not her egg. She's not even related to.
Yeah,
it.
they just implant.
They implant it. Yeah.
The zygote.
That's how she makes money.
Yeah, I don't know what the going rate is nowadays.
It's about 100,000.
Is it? Yeah, I was gonna say. Now, is it 100,000 plus they cover all your expenses, or is that included?
Yeah.
Because I was like, they better cover all your fucking expenses, because that's probably another $100,000.
You'd look at her, you never know that she'd have 12 kids. She's got 5 of her own. You know, but then she just rented out, renting out the womb. and she does it every couple years.
I mean, yeah, it's like I said,
a lot. It's like it's. I think it's.
It better be a lot.
It's six figures.
It better be a lot.
Yeah, it's six figures.
Because it's dangerous.
Yeah.
You're wrecking your body like pretty much it's not the same afterward.
Yeah.
Even after just one, it's like it's never the same.
Looking at her, you wouldn't know she had that many.
No, but like I said, there's other problems that you can't see. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'll show her if you guys want to see her.
But yeah, so like I said, I don't know what the going rate is nowadays. I'm sure it's a lot, and I'm sure that all your expenses are covered, like by the couple that are paying for the shit. You know what I mean?
She's had 12 or 13.
Because it's real expensive.
Yeah.
I wonder, is it cheaper than doing like in vitro? Because that doesn't always work. Like, and that's real expensive. But like a lot of times they'll implant some and it doesn't work. You know what I mean? So they have to do it like over and over again. But surrogacy, that's kind of a better. I know like some people are weirded out by that because it feels like it's not your kid, even though it is your kid. It just came out of somebody else's vagina. That's it's not a big deal. But yeah. So she saw that on TV and she decided that that's what she wants to do because, like I said, she really likes being pregnant, I guess. Even if the kid wasn't her, she's like, oh, it's like the perfect thing. Like I can be pregnant and have everybody pay attention to me, and then when I have the kid, I can just give it away to somebody else and no one will be mad about it. I guess that's what it is. So they do all these like tests and stuff before you can be a surrogate. You know, they want to make sure they do like IQ tests and psychological tests and stuff like that. I guess because they want to make sure that you're not going to wig out or you're going to be like a stable person, you know what I mean? Like through the whole ordeal. And she evidently did real good on the IQ test, but on the psychiatric screenings, not so much. I believe the quote was psychosis indicators, so there was that. However, because she had already had, 3 healthy children, and I guess they kind of needed people, so they kind of let it slide. I'm imagining they probably do the psychological screening because they want to make sure that if you have the kid, you're not going to try and keep it. You know what I mean? Because you know how some people would have the baby and they'd be like, it's mine! Well, and then like they would flip out. Evidently she didn't do that, like I said, because she didn't really seem to give a shit about the kid once they were out. So this almost kind of seemed like the perfect thing for her because she was just so detached from children in general. She just really liked having babies, but she didn't really like taking care of them. So she went through that, and she's still working at the post office. She's still kind of mooning over old Knickerbocker. And, basically, what she decides to do. Robert Knickerbocker, like I said, they had been on again, off again, right? Like for 2 years. And he was kind of like, look, I really don't want anything permanent. This is just kind of like, I don't know, friends with benefits kind of situation or something like that. It's just sex. It's, don't get excited about it. We're not getting married or nothing. But for some reason, she thought that this was her person. And she needed to do anything she could do in her power to get him to realize that. So in her twisted mind, she decided that because Robert Knickerbocker did not want children, that perhaps that was the only thing that was keeping him from leaving his wife and being with her. So she decides, well, if I just eliminate my children, then it will all be sunshine and roses and unicorn farts, So I guess that's what she decided to do. It was very cold-blooded. They thought later that probably she'd been planning this for at least a week or two, like before it happened. So this is what she did. May 19th, 1983. This is in Springfield, Oregon. Diane Downs, then 27 years old. She has 3 kids. At this stage, they are 8 years old, 7 years old, and 3 years old. She goes to work. After work, she dropped her kids off with a babysitter and then goes and visits a friend of hers. And then, about 10 o'clock that night, she goes and picks them up, and she puts all the kids, Christie, Cheryl, and Danny, into her car, and she says she's going to take them on a sightseeing drive on this kind of remote, like, rural road called Old Mohawk Road, which there's no lights or anything like that. It's just kind of like this back road. Why you go sightseeing in the middle of the night? Who fucking knows? You know what I mean? But that was the story she came up with. Now, she said, here was the weird thing. So they went to this coworker that she kind of knew that lived out there. They went to that woman's farm, like to look at her horses or whatever. And that coworker later said, look, I barely know that bitch. It's like she's never been out here. I don't know. She just turned up. Like, she didn't call me ahead of time or nothing like that. Like, she just turned up and it's like, hey, my kids want to look at your horses or whatever. And she's like, okay. Like, okay. Yeah, so she thought it was, like, really weird. But I think she was kind of maybe trying to establish, like, some kind of alibi, like, why she was out there. You know what I mean? Because this coworker was just kind of like, look, we're not really friends. Like, I kind of know her, but she's never been to my house or nothing. And she didn't call ahead of time. She just turned up. And she thought that was really weird. So, on the way home from this spontaneous excursion, according to Diane, this is her story, which you will soon see is not super believable. She says she's driving on this rural road, and what she termed a bushy-haired stranger. It's another bushy-haired stranger. That was the same thing as like the Sam Shepard case. Although in that case, he might have been, I don't know if he killed his wife or not, but he also said that it was a bushy-haired intruder. There's a lot of bushy-haired killers going around out there.
Man, I got those 2 chickens downstairs, so fucking cooked, ready to go. After the show, we're going to get some chicken.
Okay, but we're still in the middle of the show.
Yeah. I was just thinking about that chicken. I'm fucking hungry, yeah.
We're still in the middle of the show. So yeah. So she says this bushy-haired stranger flagged down the car and then pulled a gun on her and demanded her car keys. So it's like a carjacking, according to her. She says, no, I'm not going to give you my keys. And then he allegedly shot her in the left forearm and then pushed her aside and fired into the car where her 3 children were. Huh. Now, Cheryl was shot in the chest. Christie was shot in the arm and the back, and Danny was shot in the spine. Now, Diane said that she pretended to throw the keys into the bushes, and then she kind of like pulled back like that, got back in the car, and then she says she floored it to the nearest hospital, which is, I always want to say Willamette, but I think it's Willamette. Like, I think I looked it up before, because we have a street in where I grew up that was Willamette, and it's spelled the same.
Yeah.
But I remember we did another show about Oregon, and I saw a documentary about it, and they said Willamette. And I was like, what? That is not even how... Okay, but whatever. That's how y'all pronounce it, so fine. So she goes to this hospital, which is 10 miles away. And like I said she just went hell-bent for leather, like the whole way. Like 100 miles an hour she's going. Oh my God, somebody shot my kids. So she arrives at the hospital at 10:48 p.m. Now, she jumps out the car, and she's like, somebody tried to kill my kids, or somebody shot my kids, or whatever. And so, you know, the hospital, like, personnel, like, rush out. Cars just, blood everywhere. There's blood inside the car. Kids are all unconscious. Now, Cheryl, the 7-year-old, she was pronounced dead. She was dead on arrival. She was pronounced dead at 11:25 p.m. Now, Christie, she actually had a stroke from blood loss. Danny, the 3-year-old, had been shot in the spine and was actually paralyzed. Now, Diane's wound to her arm was suspiciously pretty minor. You know, didn't hit any major. It was bleeding and stuff, but it's like, didn't really seem to upset her too much. You know. They said that when she got there, she was like real calm. And they said that she said, that man tried to take my car. Like, and they said she sounded like she was more indignant about that than she was about the fact that someone had allegedly shot her kids.
Well, she doesn't have priorities straight in her mind, so how is she going to tell this story when fucking the main priority... Well, the car. You know, oh, the kids, nah. Don't worry about that. The car.
Whatever.
Yeah.
That's my car. Do you know how much I paid for that?
Yeah, so they can't even lie right when they're this fucked up.
I know, right?
Yeah, she shot him with 22. I forgot what the brand was. I think it might have been a Ruger.
Yeah.
I think it might have been a Ruger 22.
They never did find that gun.
Yeah.
Although they did find.
I thought they said there was a relative that had a 22.
No. What happened was she had a 22 rifle that they found back at the house.
Okay.
And they thought that, like, you know, the what do you call them, the striation marks or whatever,
Yeah.
like that some of the ammo that she had at the house would have fit in the pistol that she had also.
Yeah.
And that it had been cycled through that rifle. So
Yeah.
that's like they matched it, but they never did find the actual murder
So
weapon.
it may have been a rifle, not a pistol. Did the kids survive? Did they say it was
Two of them?
Did they say it was a pistol or a rifle?
I'm pretty sure it was a pistol.
Yeah.
But she had a 22 at home.
Right.
That had not been fired.
Yeah, 22s are so. For those of you outside the United States, 22s are like fucking. They're not even in the South. A 22 is not even considered to be a firearm, really. That's more like a BB gun. I think I got my first one when I was about 7, and it was a Remington nylon 66, and that's where I got good with guns as a little kid. It's just like riding a bicycle. But 22 is not a serious firearm in the American lexicon. Okay, you don't shoot yourself with a 22 to kill yourself. You know, and she shot the kids with a 22 because probably that's all she had, and that was her experience level. You know, probably would have been in this era fucking more likely if somebody had a little more wherewithal and really wanted the kids dead and fucking had more resources. It would have been a 38 or 357 Magnum. A lot more common in the United States at this time, and that had put them kids down. That had fucked them up bad. So it's kind of good that she's not real experienced with firearms. 22 is not. Anything can kill you. A bullet in the right spot will kill you. It'll fuck your life up.
Little kids.
And these are just little kids. But still, 22 is kind of small. You know what I mean? And if it's not headshots, and it might take multiple headshots, it just doesn't destroy a lot of flesh. If you were to look at fucking x-rays or fucking ballistic studies of what the projectile does, it's very similar to an ice pick wound. And if you've been a follower of the show for a certain amount of time, knives and ice picks take many, many hits to kill someone. An ice pick is the last thing you want if you want fucking stopping power. You'll be stabbing that person 80 times. It's just too damn surgical. It doesn't displace enough fucking flesh. It doesn't disrupt enough fucking blood vessels to do it. Even knives are not that good.
Well, I mean, some people have been stabbed multiple times and survived.
Oh, yeah. You could get stabbed 30, 40 times and live. Okay?
It takes a lot.
Even with a pretty big knife. They're just not that good. But then, you could just take one unlucky hit to the right spot, like the fucking carotid artery, the arteries around the neck. Carotid arteries. And that'll kill you in a single strike with even a small knife. But a lot of killers are like they're just randomly fucking stabbing in the chest, like that's gonna, or in the eye, like that's gonna be the.
I mean, eventually, if you do it enough times, it will kill the person. But
through blood loss, and you gotta lose a lot of blood, you know.
You do.
Sharp objects are not really the way to go. If you want instantaneous fucking what we call stopping power, blunt force trauma.
Tom's giving tips.
That's my tip. Blunt force trauma.
Hit some people with a club or something.
Club.
Or a bat.
Bat. A fucking
Don't do that.
Rubber mallet.
Don't do that.
Not even a hammer. Claw hammer. No. It just pops a hole in the skull and fucking you'll just continue to hit and hit. It doesn't do. But a rubber mallet, yeah, it's bigger. You know, and it's bigger surface area and it's more of a fucking impact trauma. Instant incapacitation. So a lot of these serial killers, a lot of these killers have these weird fantasies about knives. It's a penetration thing. It's
I think that's why they
thing.
Use them. And plus, you have to get up close and personal.
Yeah, you're getting up, and it's going to take a lot.
I think that's why a lot of them like strangling. Yeah.
It's going to take a lot of strikes to kill a person. And no, you can go through history of medieval warfare. The best weapons were fucking battle axe. Not swords, not fucking daggers, battle axe. Spear was good. mace, some warhammer. Shit was blunt force trauma. That's the way to go. Go the rest of them.
Oh, we got, it's a Michael MCH92.
Yeah, what do you
Long-time
say?
watcher and listener.
Thank you.
Love the show. Mostly watch for Tom's firearm sidetracks. LOL. First time getting to see live. Thank y'all for what you do. Well, you're very welcome.
Thank you,
Thank
man.
you for showing up. I'm
Some
glad you
people
finally
don't
got
understand the show. They say we're not direct, but this is a fucking flow of, it's a stream of consciousness hangout show. We're just just hanging out.
here. Like, for the stuff where we have an actual topic, like a topic like this, or like movie reviews, I do actually have notes that I can refer to, obviously, because I can't remember all this shit. But yeah, we just kind of go off on tangents. Like I said, we started the sidetrack show a long time ago because I thought that it would make us have less tangents on the regular show, and it did not work. We still just do tangents. Because most of the time, I'm the one doing the research for the show. Like, Tom did watch a documentary about this bitch with me the other night. He doesn't usually I just watch them on my own or whatever, because he doesn't, I really like true crime shit because I'm kind of warped like that, but he doesn't really like it. Like, he won't watch it like for too long. He's like, man, this is fucking depressing. Let's turn the shit off. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, I'll watch it all day. I don't care. But it's like I said, I'm a little bit warped. But yeah, so mostly he's kind of like not, so he's hearing a lot of the stuff for the first time, and it kind of makes him think of other things, and that's kind of why. But yeah, so the crazy shit too, I just remembered this, is that when the doctors came to her and said that the little boy, Danny, who was 3, he had been shot like in the spine, and they said, oh, well, we think he's probably going to make it or whatever. And they said, like, oh, the bullet, like, went here or there, like, told her where the bullet was. And she said something like, oh, you mean it missed his heart? What a weird thing to say. Yeah. So even at the hospital, like, they were starting to think, this bitch isn't right. You know what I mean?
She was trying to put one in his heart.
Well, yeah, like, she was just saying shit like that, and she seemed, like, super calm. And she said she'd been shot, but she was, like, pretty chill about it. And, you know, shit like that. And even the doctors and, like, the cops, when they first came there, were kind of like, well, one, why were you out sightseeing at 10 o'clock at night? There's no lights out there. You can't see anything. It's fucking dark, right? If somebody tried to carjack you, why didn't you, like, drive up the road and, like, yell for help or go to a house and get help or something like that? You know, it just seemed weird. And another thing that was creepy is that she went in to see her daughter, her other daughter that survived, because, like I said, one of her daughters died. Like, she was dead on arrival. But the other one, she came in to see her, and she's sitting by the girl's bed, like, saying, oh, I love you, and all this other kind of stuff. And they said the little girl's, like, heart rate, the monitor, like, went crazy.
Yeah.
Like, she was afraid.
Yeah.
So again, like, the doctors were like, huh, that's really fucking weird. Like, there's probably something fucking weird going on. So I think even from the beginning, like, they knew something weird was
The way
going on.
that bitch looked and acted, they knew some shit was up.
Yeah. And that's, I don't know. And just this fucking story that she told
was
about.
shifty, yeah.
Yeah, like, fucking shifty.
Yeah.
And then, as the investigation continued, they drove her out to, I think even Steve, her ex-husband, who was the father of 2 of her daughters, flew up from Arizona and shit like that. Like, he wasn't super jazzed to, like, see her again, but like I said, there's his kids too. And they even drove her out to where all of this supposedly happened. And even when they did that, they were just kind of like, they just thought she was, like, telling a story. You know what I mean? Which seemed pretty clear. Because even at the beginning, it seemed pretty implausible. And when they did a whole forensics, kind of look over of the car and everything like that, the way that she described it happening was not what they saw. They're like, apparently, according to her, like, the dude, shot from outside, and the way the blood spatter looked like, obviously, somebody that was inside the car. And there was they found blood spatter, like, kind of underneath, because one of the kids, this is horrible, but, like, one of the kids actually tried to get out of the car, mommy started shooting, and so she tried to get out of the car, and so Diane kind of leaned out of the car like that and was like shooting her like on the ground. So there was blood spatter like kind of up underneath, you know? And they found that like later on and be like, yeah, that's probably what happened. They even did like a reenactment of it and everything. They're like, this is not consistent with just some random ass dude like shooting into the car from outside. They're like, that's obviously not what happened. It was somebody that was in the car. And then, you know, somebody falling out of the car and her shooting them, you know what I mean? Also, they found out that the 22 caliber Ruger pistol did belong to her. She had bought it in Arizona. They never did find it. But the casings from it did match ammo in her house.
Do you have a brand, model?
I don't know. It just said Ruger pistol.
Just said Ruger. Okay, yeah. That's the brand.
Yeah, I just said that.
Grandma. Okay. Yeah.
She did have a 22
Very
rifle
common.
in
Good
her house
quality
when they
22.
searched it. And like I said, the same ammo could be used in either one. And it looked like, you know, like I said, the striations matched. There was like a whole like ballistics thing.
It's a good pistol what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Ruger, it could have been a Mark 1, 2, 3, somewhere on there. It did look kind of vaguely like a German Luger PO8. It operated totally different. It was blowback operated. Very accurate. And you could get them at a reasonable price and very good quality. Good pistol. But it was a sporting pistol. Sporting and target. You know, it wasn't a combat pistol. Kind of looked like one, but it wasn't. Nice pistol. Fucking, it's a shame.
Here's another thing.
But lucky she used that piece of shit. Had she used something more deadly, the two kids wouldn't have survived.
I mean, they were fucked up. Like,
Yeah, but they wouldn't have lived. Had that been a 38
I mean, one
or a
of them did
37
die.
Magnum, I'd have fucked him up.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
Yeah.
Here's what's crazy. Is that, remember how I said, like, one of the things of her story is, like, this dude tried to kill my kids, and then I jumped back in the car and drove 100 miles an hour to the hospital.
Yeah.
Well, when the whole story came out, several witnesses came forward and said, when they described the car and everything, this bitch was driving like 5 miles an hour down the street to the hospital. So slow that like traffic was backed up behind her. So she shot the kids in her car and then went as slow as fucking possible to the hospital so they would die.
Yeah.
To me, that was like the most horrible aspect of it, that she was that fucking calculating.
Yeah.
She didn't even want to make it look like that was the story she told, but everybody was like, no man, she was going so fucking slow and we couldn't get around her. And it's like, yeah, there was like traffic backed up behind her and everybody was like, what the fuck is this bitch's problem? She's going like 5 miles an hour. She was going slow because she wanted them to like
die.
bleed out.
Yeah.
Before she got to the hospital, but she still wanted to make it look good. Like, oh, I brought him to the hospital, I rushed to get here, but she didn't. Like, several witnesses came forward afterward and said no, she was going super, super slow. So, that, I don't know why that fucking, that really bothered me, you know what I mean? They also did, when they did the autopsy on Cheryl, the one girl that died, the little girl that died, they said she was obviously not shot from outside of the car, because she had powder burns on her skin, which means she was shot at essentially like point blank range. So she must have been shot from inside the car. Another thing they thought was weird was that Diane did not, when she got to the hospital, the first person she called was her little fantasy boy, Robert Knickerbocker. That's who she called first from the hospital. And said, someone tried to kill my kids, she said. Like, almost like she was trying to, like, get him to feel sorry for her, or that he was going to go, oh, good, now you don't have kids anymore. Or whatever the fuck. I don't know what the fuck she was thinking. So, yeah. The fact that she shot herself in the arm to make it look like, I mean,
Well, she had...
that's a lot more common than you might think. Because, I watch a lot of true crime shit, and a lot of times, like, people that, especially if it's, like, a family member, because I'm really into this show now called Blood Relatives, which is all about families that kill each other and stuff. And, so they're trying to make it look like a stranger did it. And so a lot of times they'll shoot the whole family, and then they'll shoot themselves, like, but in somewhere that's not going to kill them, obviously, just, like, in the shoulder or some shit like that. I'm sure they research it ahead of time. But she did do that. she shot herself in the arm. But
Yeah.
they said that the wound was like really superficial.
Yeah.
So she must have known that wasn't gonna, like, it didn't break any bones or anything.
22 long rifle, in terms of fucking what it does, is, like I said, it's not a very destructive cartridge. Can it kill you? Yeah. But it has to hit in the right spot. And it's almost kind of luck. And it tends to take multiple headshots. The mob liked using it because it was quiet. It's not a very loud cartridge. But they used it up close and personal, usually a headshot from the back of the head. Because the person's in the front seat of a car and it's a guy from the back seat. And go, pow, 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 pow. So yeah, that'll kill you. But it's just not a very destructive cartridge. A lot of it has to do with velocity. Any projectile moving less than 2,000 feet per second, its temporary wound cavity is... Well, the permanent wound cavity isn't very impressive. It doesn't matter what caliber it is. When you start getting above 2,000 feet per second, you're talking about like rifle ability. The temporary wound cavity, that's the amount, that's the flesh that's stretching to move out of the way of the bullet as it goes through you. Starts to look a lot like the permanent wound cavity. So the amount of damage is fucking increased exponentially beyond when you're dealing with a projectile that's moving faster than 2,000 feet per second. A 22 long rifle bullet's maybe moving fucking 850 feet per second. It's not fast. 1,000 on a good day, depending on fucking how light it is. It just doesn't do that much damage. I used to be way into this fucking hollow point bullshit and all the one shot stop statistics of the fucking 80s when I was coming up, when all this was a very new science. When there was a big war between 45 fucking ACP and fucking 9mm and hollow points, and all that shit was statistical magic. Really what mattered was velocity. When you're talking about high velocity, it's devastating. Pistols all tend to be about the same. Rifles all tend to be about the same. Being hit with a rifle is fucking much worse than being hit by a pistol. Now, does the caliber of a pistol matter? Yeah, it does. But it doesn't matter as much as you think it does. 5.56 and 7.62 rifle calibers fucking are in a totally different ballpark than, say, 380 or 9mm or 38 special. There's just no comparison. Do you want to get hit with any of this shit? No. No, you don't. It can all fuck you up and kill you. It's just that rifles are much worse. And you're now coming with pistols calibers that are close to fucking 2,000 feet per second because they're getting away from lead. They're going to solid copper projectiles. And you're starting to see some shit that's fucking truly impressive that we had never thought of in the 80s and the 90s. But these little 22s are just... No. I'd go out hunting squirrels with a 22 and fucking have to shoot a fucking squirrel 2 or 3 times because it just whizzed right through him. It just... Even though that's a little bitty thing, I felt like a murderer. I wanted this one-shot destruction. You kill the thing, you put it up in your belt, and you go out and you get more squirrels. That's the last time I squirrel hunted. Had to kill like 30 of those things, and it didn't even barely fill up a pot. There's not much meat on one. Probably would have been better just to use a fucking air rifle with lead pellet. So I know what they're talking about here. Just, it's fucking sad. Shooting kids with a fucking 22.
Inside a fucking parked car.
Inside a parked car.
Like from essentially point blank range.
Yeah. She's thinking that
and the kids were like freaking out and like trying to get out.
Yeah.
And shit like that.
In her mind, not knowing what's going on, she's thinking it's a one-shot instant. They're going to vanish. They won't even know what hits them. No, that's not what you're dealing with when you're dealing with that particular pistol and that caliber out of a pistol. It's the equivalent of stabbing them with an ice pick. And that's not very lethal. It's going to take many hits with an ice pick. And that's really all you're doing with that. It's a shame.
So yeah, as though it wasn't obvious from the jump, like how implausible her story was. Her story also kind of changed in retellings. Like, you know, bushy-haired stranger was the first thing, and then she said it was a dude with a mask, and then she said it was a drug dealer, and it's like, you know what I mean. So she kept coming up with new shit. Now, so pretty much the lead investigators on this, and the DA, whose name was Fred Hugi, I think is how you pronounce his, and Fred Hugi, hero, because he was the main prosecutor on this case, and he got so involved in the case that him and his wife actually ended up adopting her 2 surviving children and raised them as their own, which I thought was like really cool. But they knew that there was something wrong with her, like within a day or 2 of this happening. And you know, it didn't help that Diane's ex-husband, Steve, came forward and said, yeah, that, you know, she had a .22 Ruger pistol, like, you know, and where she got it from and everything like that. So he kind of gave that up. And then her lover / co-worker, old Knickerbocker, he basically said, yeah, this bitch has been stalking me, and, you know, we had a thing, and I didn't want to get married, and she's been kind of writing me letters and all this other kind of shit. And he told the police she'd do anything for me. Man. Which, you know, in the context of this crime, probably not a great thing to be telling the cops, but yeah, I mean, he came forward and said. Also, and this is kind of heartbreaking, so the fact that Christie survived, she had a stroke because of blood loss, you know, she's 8, and she couldn't talk for a while. But actually I believe they did hypnosis on her, like, later on. And when she was under hypnosis and they asked her what happened, she said, Mom stopped the car, she shot us, then herself. And then she said, don't make me say it again. And I was like, oh, that broke my fucking heart, like, reading that. That's terrible. So the fact that, man, this bitch, like, shot these kids, and, like, 2 of them lived, and one of them was old enough to, like, say what had happened. And the fact that this woman is, like, still denying that she did it, even though the kid fucking said, you know what I mean? So the kid said that. They give Diane a polygraph. She failed it. And they find, like I said, they found a bunch of shit. They searched her house. They found, like, ammo that matched the pistol. They didn't find the actual pistol. They never found that. But they didn't find ammo that matched it and shit like that. And they obviously, like, talked to her lovers, her ex-husband, everything, and all of the shit that she'd said over the years about the kids just being kind of baggage or just kind of being encumbrances to what she wanted and shit like that. So it wasn't looking good. You know what I mean? Now, interestingly, right before she was arrested, Diane became pregnant with another kid. And she eventually gave birth to a girl. I believe her name was Amy Elizabeth. That was a month after her trial, which was in 1984. I think the reason that she got pregnant, well, I pretty much know the reason that she got pregnant. I think she thought that people would go easier on her if she was like, look, I'm a mom. You know what I mean? Yeah, you're a mom that just fucking shot your kids. You know what I mean? So I think that she thought that would maybe garner her some sympathy, maybe. But it did not work. So the kid obviously was taken away, thank God, and was raised by normal people. She was renamed Rebecca Babcock, and she actually went on, she was on Oprah later, and she was on 2020, and, you know, kind of talking about how she felt about Diane Downs being her biological mother, which I'm sure is not a great feeling. And she basically thinks that Diane Downs is a monster. And she was later on, you know that show Happy Face, which was the daughter of the Happy Face killer, who Keith Jesperson, who we did a show about like a couple weeks ago. She started a show about like the children of serial killers and things like that. And Rebecca, Diane Downs' daughter, was on there, like talking about Diane Downs, like on the podcast, like Happy Face. And she was actually trying to find out who her biological father was. Because I'm not really sure. I heard that it was just like a prison guard or something, or somebody that was like involved in the case, that Diane somehow got to like impregnate her. Whether it's on purpose or not, I don't know. But it's like she talked some dude into fucking her, and she got pregnant from it and had a kid. Because like I said, I think she just did it as a calculated move, like to be like, hey, I'm pregnant, you can't like do all this kind of shit to me, you know what I mean? But yeah. So they did end up arresting her finally in February 1984. And has never, to this day, admitted doing what she did. So she basically just said the whole time that it was just this stranger that did it. Even though her kid went on the stand, the 8-year-old, she was, I think, 9 by this time, but it's like went on there and said, my mom did it. She shot us, and then she shot herself right there, and all that other kind of stuff. Now, interestingly, the jury came back. Okay, so there was several charges. Obviously, one murder, because that Cheryl, her daughter, died. 2 of them were attempted murder, and then 2 assaults. So I think the jury was 12-0 unanimous on the murder, but were 10-2 on the attempted murder for some reason, or the assaults. But I mean, she got found guilty anyway, because normally it's just, I'm not entirely sure like what the law is on this in this situation when there are multiple charges involved, because usually it has to be unanimous, right? Otherwise it's a hung jury and you have to start over. But I guess because it was unanimous on the murder charge, they just went ahead with that. So even though the assault charge or the attempted murder wasn't unanimous, it was 10-2, they just said, okay, whatever, fuck it, we're just doing the murder thing. So she actually got life plus 50 years consecutive. They said she'd be eligible for parole after 25, but the judge basically said, nah, we're not doing that. We're not letting her out. So they sent her to the Oregon Women's Correctional Center. She was eligible for parole in 2009. However, before all of that, she did actually escape for a short time. In July of 1987, she actually climbed over the fence and ran away. And she was missing for 10 days. They actually captured her, recaptured her in July 21st. And she actually hadn't gone that far. She was only like a few blocks away, like at some boyfriend's house or some friend's house or something like that. They found her there, so it wasn't too fucking hard. So they added 5 years onto her sentence for the escape. And then she got transferred to like another facility in New Jersey, I believe. While she was in prison, she got a degree and shit like that. But like I said,
what'd she do while she escaped? Did she say?
I don't think she ever said. Like
Just
I said, she
around?
was only. I don't know. I don't know what she was thinking.
Walk around,
Apparently,
suck
it was
some
like
dick, and way back.
Probably.
Yeah, walk around, suck some dick. Yeah.
She couldn't handle like being in prison without any dick around that she could get something out of. I don't know.
Well, a lot of these girls that go to prison, they just fucking switch sides, and then they just start fucking chomping the turf. You know what I mean? Fucking, they're happy with that too. Because a lot of these girls are just
it's
like,
all good.
It's all the same. They don't really care.
It's all good.
Well, yeah, but I would imagine she is probably missing the dick. She goes, "Hey, you want to suck your dick?" Probably some shit like that. I haven't sucked dick in a few years. Okay, yeah, go ahead and suck some dick, bitch.
I know. Now I'm kind of wondering. She just went on like a dick sucking vacation
little
for
rampage,
10 days.
Yeah.
Oh, a dick sucking rampage.
Yeah, dick sucking rampage.
Oh my
yeah.
God. Sorry, I just had like a really funny mental image.
Jen
like
loves
thinking
that
about
Jen loves that guy.
Please tell me there's a porn movie called that, because I would totally watch that. That'd be a great fucking title. Dick sucking rampage.
Dick sucking rampage.
But it would have to be like
porn with that.
Well, yeah,
I'll
but
make
like
a shirt with that.
Dick sucking rampage. It would be funnier if the woman was like kind of a monster.
Yeah.
You know, because a rampage implies monster.
Yeah, she's got to be kind of a monster that would be attractive to dudes though. Fucking, some big old titties
like,
with some nipples,
you know what I mean? Like
and angry
that.
face and shit.
And then you start sucking the dick, and then like, oh no, like the teeth come out and shit like that. That would be
something like that.
I want to watch that kind of shit. Because it has to go in a horror.
Ridiculous.
It has to go in a horror direction.
Yeah,
otherwise, I'm just
fucking ridiculous.
Because that's kind of how I roll. You know what I mean? It's like if it's just gonna be fun and soft, and so it's like I don't really like that. I wanted to go in a horror direction. Come on, I was like, somebody's dick needs to get bit off. Come on.
Yeah, that's the one who's got to make that T-shirt. You see what I said? That's the one we're talking about the AR-15. He says that's new to him. Bitch, that's old. everything you can think of, all this shit that's coming out now, that fucking PSA's making and all this stuff about fucking, that was all dreamed up in the 1960s. Fucking, the AR-15 was all in 1960. You could make anything you wanted. The best thing about the AR was just how modular it was. You could take it apart with hand tools and make anything you wanted. Couldn't do that with the AK because it was riveted together and fucking riveted and pressed together. And once it was together, you couldn't take it apart. You couldn't change anything. It was just a set product. But the AK was only like, back in its heyday when they're fucking ramped up for production, they're only $20 a piece, the Soviet cost. So you could just hand them out to everybody. You know what I mean? The AK was good too. It was just a poor man's battle rifle. It was very good. It didn't cost anything to make. The AR was more of a fucking just modular, high tech, fucking aluminum, fucking super light. You can make anything you wanted out of it. Okay, just going back.
Klaus says snow is right around the corner. Not in Florida, it ain't. It never.
No, it snowed here. Like last time it snowed was 2008.
2008.
2008 or 9, yeah.
And it was just kind of, and it doesn't even, it'll be like kind of flaky, and it doesn't even stick on the ground for any length of time.
Sticks a little bit.
It never gets cold enough to snow, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Because I love fall and winter, but it doesn't get like that here.
Yeah, Klaus, if you and your girl want to come visit, you can come visit. Just give us some warning. We'll make some time. You guys come on visit.
But yeah, I mean, you can't just show up.
You can't just show up random. Just tell us you want to come. Fucking, you can stay here.
I mean, at the moment,
save you a lot of money.
At the moment, our kitchen's being redone. So
I got to redo the kitchen.
The kitchen's trashed.
The kitchen's trashed. And he's only coming to work on a weekend. It's saving me several $1,000s to have this dude on the side.
Because he has another job too.
He's got another job. Yeah, he's installing my kitchen. All new cupboards and stuff.
Huge
new fucking refrigerator and fucking and it's a Swedish. I got some Swedish shit. It's all Electrolux stuff. I used to work for the American Electrolux, but I got it's good, man. Good professional kitchen going in there. But that'll be done by that time. It'll be done in a fucking couple more weeks.
It's supposed to be a couple more weeks.
Couple more weeks.
Done. It's like half done. But there's still a bunch of crap everywhere.
Yeah.
Gramther says Carrie Rader, BTK's daughter, lives in Eatonville. Maybe she might come to a visit. Good Times Bar and Grill. Yeah. She might. We might have seen her. Like, I kind of only vaguely. I probably wouldn't know if I saw her, because I've seen her before, but I can't really remember what she looks like.
Klaus, you come here.
Eatonville is not far from us.
Klaus, you come here. You bring Tanya. Fucking, we'll. If you pay, we'll take you to fucking Universal. Don't worry about Disney. Fuck Disney. You want to go to Universal? That's the good amusement park. And then we'll go to the clubs.
It'll be fun.
Yeah, we'll have fun. You can stay for a couple weeks if you want to.
Yeah, we don't have a.
Long as you fucking pay your way and shit, it'll be all right. But it'll save you thousands. You come stay with us. Fucking being from Norway, you got the automatic. You got a fucking deluxe pass because y'all are fucking from civilized country, from a civilized world.
Yeah, not like here.
We're civilized too. Just
Well,
it'd be very kind of. We're like civilized, like Star Wars. Like fucking Mos Eisley. I'll take you to the biker bar. I'll introduce you to fucking to the warlocks. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So let's see. Where was I? I'm almost kind of like.
All right. Yeah.
Anyways. So basically, they're saying, okay. So Anne Rule's book about her, called Small Sacrifices, came out in 1987. That was like a huge hit, and she has periodically gone up for parole, but has never got it. She got a psych eval in 2008, and they basically said, and this was, I believe, a quote from there, by year 20, one hopes for insight. She has none. So she has not learned a single fucking thing.
That bit's stupid.
In 20 years. Like, the weird thing about it is, like, by all accounts, she's not stupid. It's just that she's
missing some shit in her fucking mind.
Yeah. It's just
she's an NPC.
Yeah. I definitely think that she legitimately thinks that she didn't do anything wrong.
Man, that bitch is a murderer.
Like,
maybe
in her mind, she constructed this whole thing, and she told herself it so many times that, like, she thinks that's true.
She told herself, well, I made those kids. I brought them in this world. I could take them out.
As Bill Cosby used to
say. Yeah.
And we all know what happened with Bill Cosby, right?
They're mine.
They belong about that fucking.
They belong to me. I didn't approve, so I'm gonna take them back out. Yeah.
It's like, that's my right. I can do that.
You're right. Yeah. I'm the goddess creator, and I can, and I'm also the destroyer. I can take them out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm the yin and the yang.
Jesus Christ.
That's what she's saying. Fuck that bitch.
Yeah. So, as I mentioned, the main prosecutor at her trial actually ended up adopting her 2 surviving children, which I thought was pretty awesome. Like, him and his wife adopted them. And they're doing pretty good. Like I said, you know, they still have issues because I believe that Christie has a speech impediment still. She has her own kids now. And Danny, I believe, was paralyzed, so I think he's still in a wheelchair to this day. But, you know, they actually did really well after they got adopted. So I thought that was pretty awesome that, like, the prosecutor adopted them. So yeah. And basically, I think that's about it, right? Was there anything else? Like I said, she's trying to get appeals and parole and shit like that, but at this point, I really don't think... I mean, a mom that shoots their own kids in cold blood like this just so they can be with a dude who didn't really want to be with her anyway, people are not going to look too kindly on that, okay? So it's just kind of like, I would be shocked if she was let out at any point. You know, people are really not forgiving of women that do shit to children. Probably less so than men that do shit to children, because men do shit to children and, like, sometimes it'd be like, you know what I mean, but, like, women that do, they'll never forgive that, never, because I think it's almost like an upending of people's idea of, like, the social order, I suppose.
Yeah, but when you look at killers, women have a tendency when they're killers, they're killing fucking children or old women.
Yeah, they tend to.
That's what they tend to kill.
Or they tend to, like I said, it's not true across the board, but women tend to kill younger, weaker, and they tend to kill for practical reasons.
Profit.
As this woman did, because she just, in her mind, she thought, well, I want this guy. He doesn't want me. He doesn't want kids. So obviously my kids are a hindrance. So I have to get rid of them. So it was a completely practical, from a fucked up perspective. It was a completely practical.
Yeah, and there have been a lot of old lady killers that poison other old people and old men sometimes to get money.
Yeah.
And
look at people like, even back in the day, like Belle Gunness and people like that. It's just like, she didn't really... I don't think she got any kind of sexual charge out of killing people. It was just, they were just in the way. She just wanted their money. She just wanted their shit. So it's just kind of like, well, bap.
Yeah, and they had...
Bear 'em in the yard.
They had that one old lady out in old London who would pretend to adopt out young ladies' children. But she was actually just throwing them into Thames.
Yeah.
And taking their money.
That was, I think, Amelia Dyer.
Yeah.
Well, there was a lot of baby farmers like that.
Yeah, she probably did hundreds like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got a super chat from Papa77.
Papa, yeah.
Sorry,
What's up, Papa?
we missed most of the show. Our daughter had a small surgery today. Oh, I hope she's all right.
Oh, what kind of surgery was it?
We will listen to the whole show later tonight. Well, thank you very much for
be all right.
dropping
It was a good
by.
show. It was a decent show.
Yeah, it's a child murder show. So it's like, you know.
Yeah, thank you for the super chat.
We tried to make it fun.
Yeah, you're a great patron of the show.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
All right, so...
And then Papa hook up with us on Friday. We're going to do the our open line show, and we'll have a drink then.
And we're not going anywhere Friday night.
We're not going anywhere Friday night.
Because last week we went to Abyss.
Yeah, and Saturday we'll be out.
But we'll go out Saturday this week. Which is good, because I always like going out. We missed Saturday last week because we were going to go out both nights. We always say this.
Our girlfriend's going to be waiting for us.
You think?
Charisse? Yeah, she'll be there.
Man, that was a whole
thing.
Charisse
will be there. Yeah,
she said all kind of stuff. Like at a bit, I'm
gonna hit her up about it. Says Charisse, you know, I'm gonna ask her. Says you
come in trouble.
Are you coming Friday? Says yeah, I'll be there. It'd be just us three. Fuck.
Are you coming Saturday? She comes almost.
She comes almost every Saturday.
Almost every Saturday. Like every now and then.
We're gonna pull her into the car.
I mean, every now and then she has to work, or she's a nurse, like I said. But
she's a nurse. Yeah.
And she has a kid, but the kid's mostly grown.
Her like kids are grown. She I don't think she has one kid. She has several.
Yeah, she might have several.
You wouldn't know by looking at her.
Yeah, she's a little bitty.
Little bitty, skinny.
Little bitty skinny girl.
Yeah, girl. She's in her 40s.
I mean, she's our age.
She's our age, yeah.
But you know,
late 40s, yeah.
It's just funny.
Yeah, fucking one of our listeners, fucking saw her. She was on the show and commented, says she looks like Sinead O'Connor. She doesn't really look like Sinead O'Connor to me. She does have short hair, but she doesn't look like Sinead O'Connor.
She might look like her bald, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, if you were bald, she might look like her.
Bald.
Yeah.
So I don't know. She has like short, but she looks good with short hair.
Yeah. She's
Which is
cute.
good. Not a lot of women can pull that
Cute.
off.
I told you. I said that girl right there is right.
Yeah.
Because she's our age, she's got money, she's not married. Fucking, you know what I mean? Fucking.
She doesn't really seem to like. She just seems to be like into having fun. You know.
She just didn't have fun. Nobody's fucking gunning for her. There aren't enough men for us. It's a Jen. There's your girlfriend right there. I'm gonna go to the restroom.
I have to go to the restroom too.
Yeah,
But,
yeah. Hold on.
You know what I mean?
Go ahead and shut the show down, I guess, or if they don't want to show.
Yeah. Barbara Gentry says there's no way of letting her out. It would not make sense. Yeah, I really don't think they should ever let this bitch out because it's clear that she does not feel any remorse. It's clear that she has not learned anything. And really, even if she had, I don't think there would be any way of knowing if she was just blowing smoke up people's asses so she could get out. Because, like, I know a lot of killers will do that. Like, if they've been in jail for a long time, they're kind of sick of it. And then they're just kind of like, oh, I'm totally redeemed. I found Jesus or whatever the fuck. And it's just like, they're not really. They haven't really changed. They're just trying to manipulate the system is what they're trying to do. And so I kind of feel like somebody like her, I don't think she's capable of the introspection needed. And even if she did make noises toward that, like she knows what she did was bad and all this other kind of stuff, you can't really believe her because she has bullshitted all this time. Like I said, she has never admitted it. She never admitted what she did. And to me, that seems like somebody that is not redeemable because she's continually saying, I've told you the same story the whole time. It was a stranger that did it. And we know that's not true. I mean, the evidence just doesn't bear that out. So the fact that she can't even own up to the fact that she did it, is obviously very instructive. And if you can't even admit to what you did, you can't even get to a point where you feel bad about it. And I don't think she feels bad about it. Even though the whole purpose of doing it didn't work out for her, obviously, because she went to jail.
Bitch stupid. Not only is she an NPC, she's stupid.
Not really the brightest crayon in the box.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Anytime, like, and I see this kind of shit all the time. Like I said, I watch a lot of true crime. And it's like, so you see this kind of thing where it's like, well, you know, I have this wife and I have this mistress, and it's like, I kind of want the mistress, but I don't want to divorce the wife, so I'm just going to kill the wife. Or shit like that. And it's just like, when has that ever worked out for anybody ever? I guess if it did, you wouldn't hear about it because they wouldn't get caught. But it's like, most of the time, you've just ruined everyone's lives. It's like, just divorce a person, like a normal ass fucking person. I don't really understand this whole... It just seems like you're making way too much hard work for yourself.
Yeah.
Like, why? I don't understand. I don't understand. Yeah, Papa said, yes, we are home, and she's doing well. Okay, that's good. Yeah, Count Orlock said she's a couple fries short of a Happy Meal. More than a couple fries. Yeah. Probably like half the fries.
Yeah, that bitch crazy.
Happy Meal. And also, they gave you the wrong sauce for your nugs and everything. It was
they gave you the wrong sauce for your nugs. That's a good one.
It was a whole thing.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Hey, I've been there. Sometimes they don't give you any... Well, they'll usually give me the right sauce for the nugs, because I always want sweet and sour. But they almost always forget to put ketchup in there. I think you have to ask for ketchup for the fries. I don't think they... Sometimes they'll give it to you automatically, but I've found not usually. I don't care. I can eat them with ketchup or without. Yeah. But so I'm not that butthurt if they forget. Yeah. But it seems like most of the time they don't even bother to put ketchup in there. But that's okay. I'm not going to complain too hard. They're giving me fries. They're good. All right, so we're going to wrap it up for the evening. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the show. Thank you very much for hanging out with us. Thank you for your super chats. We'll be back again on Friday night for the Sidetrack show.
Yeah.
Which, like I said, is no topic at all. It's just open lines. We just get drunker and drunker, and
you guys ask us questions and we talk
about bullshit.
That's actually our favorite show.
It's super fun.
Yeah, yeah.
No pressure.
Yeah.
And it's like Friday night, so it's like going into the weekend and everything. And we're not going anywhere Friday night, so we can hang out as long as we want. Which is good. So yeah, hopefully you guys can join us for that. And we are going to wrap it up for the night. Have a good day tomorrow. Have a good day Friday. We will see you guys again on Friday night.